and Development, Dr. Kennedy Swaratsing, who said the move will open major avenues of investment for the country's private sector. Speaking at a conference at the University of the West Indies, Dr. Swaratsing disclosed that the World Bank has already secured office space and has begun mobilizing staff in preparing for full operations.
And the World Bank was here about 4 or 5 weeks ago, and they have already selected an office space. They have staff already looking to move down. So we're moving very, very assiduously to bring those supports required to be able to give the jolt, because whether we like it or not, we will not get foreign revenues coming out of the energy sector anytime soon. That will give us the type of, so we need that kind of injection coming in.
He noted that government has tasked the institution with designing a multi-billion-dollar investment pipeline specifically aimed at strengthening local businesses, particularly those focused on exports.
But when the World Bank Group is finally established in Port of Spain, their mandate is to create, through the IFC and MEGA and other agencies, is to create that funding available for local businesses to inject, and that would be, and we have asked them to set up that funding between $1 and $3 billion US. So that's what this government has been working very, very hard. The Attorney General is in the process of vetting those agreements.
According to the minister, the World Bank had been seeking to establish a formal presence in Trinidad and Tobago for close to 10 years. However, he claimed that previous efforts were blocked by the former administration, delaying what he described as an important opportunity for economic expansion. In more news, the Civil Division Bill 2026 was passed in the Senate with all 29 senators voting in favor as government moves to confront long-standing delays and backlogs in the justice system. The legislation establishes a civil court, a small claims court, and an estates administration office, new divisions intended to modernize civil case management and improve the efficiency of the judiciary. Piloting the bill on Tuesday, Attorney General John Jeremy said it builds on ongoing judicial reforms that previously created the Family and Children's Division and the District Criminal and Traffic Courts.
The purposes of the bill, as reflected in the long title, are to restructure and to modernize the administration of civil justice in Trinidad and Tobago by creating a dedicated civil division of the judiciary and clearly allocating jurisdiction among specialized courts and offices.
Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister, Daryl Alahar, added that chronic staffing shortages and high turnover within the judiciary have worsened inefficiencies. He said the bill aims to strengthen capacity, address systemic weaknesses, and restore public confidence in the administration of justice.
Performance management assessments of civil servants. We had to help with interviewing people for positions by delegated authority of the Service Commission. We had to manage the accounts because the registrar was the accounting officer of the judiciary. And there were lots of things that we had to do assisted by clerks.
The Civil Division Bill 2026 ultimately seeks to streamline the handling of civil disputes and enhance the overall functioning of the court system. Now, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service has launched an investigation into an assault that left one man seriously injured following an incident involving individuals believed to be members of the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force. According to police, the altercation stemmed from a vehicular collision along Milford Road, Crown Point, early on Monday morning. The men, who were reportedly dressed in civilian clothing at the time, allegedly attacked Kevin Lewis. Senior Superintendent Rodhill Kirk confirmed that officers attached to the Crown Point police station have been instructed to carry out a full probe into the matter. He added that investigators were unable to take a statement from Lewis at hospital due to the heavy sedation required for his treatment. A relative of the victim told TTT News that Lewis, an employee of the Scarborough General Hospital, became embroiled in an argument with 4 men said to be TTDF officers after the accident. According to the relative, Lewis attempted to seek refuge in a nearby house but was chased, pulled back onto the roadway and beaten. Bystanders eventually contacted emergency responders and police. Lewis sustained a fractured arm, multiple bruises, abdominal injuries, and the loss of 3 teeth as a result of the attack. In some sport now, despite a commanding 8-0 victory over St. Martin on Monday, head coach of the Trinidad and Tobago under-17 men's football team, Randolph Boyce, offered some rather unexpected comments after the match. The result at the Hazy Crawford Stadium keeps TNT 3 points behind Group A leaders Mexico, setting up a crucial final group stage showdown between the two teams on Thursday at the same venue.
Again, we move the ball well. We control the rhythm of the game, but again, in the final third, we had our most challenging parts. We set targets, we give them some KPIs to see if they could work with in terms of each half, but unfortunately, they didn't meet some of the targets that we set.
And that's what's making the news this morning. But joining us right now is the host of Trinidad and Tobago Today, Vimala Balkaran. Good morning, Vimala.
Good morning, Carrie. How are you today?
I am good. I can't complain at all. What about you?
I'm good. I was up a little bit late last night looking at a very specific competition. So I'm going to ask you a question this morning.
Right.
Can you extempo?
you put him on the spot there, but Vimala,
Yeah.
I want you to know, Brian London, Wendy Calypso, I know you had him yesterday.
That was TTT News on Talk City 91.1 FM.
Talk City 91.1 FM. Talk.
The Cabinet has approved the increase in the permissible age of importation of foreign-use right-hand drive private cars, that's sports utilities, SUVs, sedans, and station wagons, powered by gasoline, dieseline, or compressed natural gas, CNG, from 3 years to under 8 years, and under from the date of manufacture.
Music. Culture.
As Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar has announced recently with our revitalization master plan, we are open for business. And a key area, a key focus of that master plan is, of course, the energy sector and the energy hub. And we will be open for business, not only for Nutrien, but for all other players that wish to discuss their investment portfolio with us.
Engaging conversations, latest news, our music. This is Talk City 91.1 FM.
These are not just stories. They are the echoes of who we are, passed down in voices, in silence, and in memory. From the heart of the Caribbean, where history, mystery, and magic meet, this is Echoes of Our Folklore. Echoes of Our Folklore. Your weekly journey into the legends, stories, and whispers of our islands. Brought to you by Talk City 91.1 FM. One of Tobago's most enduring legends is that of Gangang Sara, often called the African Witch of Golden Lane. The story dates back to the late 18th century. According to tradition, on a stormy night, Sara was blown from her home in Africa across the sea and landed safely at Lekoto. From there, she traveled to Golden Lane in search of family who had been taken there many years before. Sara lived in a remarkable age and was remembered not for fear, but for wisdom, kindness, and quiet strength. She married Tom, whom legend says she had known as a child in Africa. Together, they built a life in Tobago. After Tom's death, Sara longed to return home. She climbed a great silk cotton tree and attempted to fly, unaware that she had lost that power after eating salt. To this day, their names, Tom and Sara, are said to remain inscribed on their headstones, lying side by side for nearly 200 years. Whether history, myth, or memory, the legend of Gangang Sara remains a powerful symbol of love, resilience, and the enduring pull of home. Another tale from our islands, reminding us that the past, the spirits, and the stories of our ancestors are never far away. You've been listening to Echoes of Our Folklore. Echoes of Our Folklore. Only on Talk City 91.1 FM. This Valentine's Day on Talk City 91.1, we're talking about real love.
Not the fairy tales, not the perfect endings, but the love that comes after heartbreak.
Join us for Second Chances, Love After Heartbreak.
If you've loved and lost.
If you've survived divorce.
Or a long relationship.
And somehow found love again. We want to hear your story because love doesn't always start perfectly, but sometimes a second time means even more.
Call in, share your journey, inspire someone who still believes. Second Chances, Love After Heartbreak.
Only on Talk City 91.1 FM. Real conversations, real life, real love. On Monday 9th to Friday 13th February, join us for Second Chances, Love After Heartbreak. Powered by the House of Angostura, Whittier, celebrating 65 years of connecting the Caribbean. Flowers 137, Cinema 1, Gemstone.
The Grandstand North Stand Carnival Sunday Night Unforgettable Experience is back. This is us. This is we. One Rhythm. Carnival Sunday Night.
Calling all mass lovers, the ultimate carnival experience is here. The world-renowned Senior Parade of Bands. On Carnival Monday from 11 a.m. and Carnival Tuesday from 8 a.m. Watch thousands of masqueraders revel in color, energy, and glory across the big stage. The Queen's Park Savannah will come alive with the passion of our people and the rhythm of our culture. Grandstand general seating, $150 for access on both days. North Stand free on Monday and just $50 on Tuesday. Available at the Grandstand ticket booth, online at islandetickets.com and the NCC office, Victoria Square, Port of Spain. For more info, find us on Instagram at ttcarnival365.com or call 622-1670. Senior Parade of Bands 2026, presented by the NCC, supported by Mackeson, Dasani, Forest Park, Coca-Cola, Kaleidoscope, and Caribbean Airlines.
Before the sun, before the road, the talk starts here. Talk City 91.1.
My real friends, I had them to the world.
Wake up to the issues that matter most on The Ground Report. Join Andy Williams and Lennox Smith every morning from 6 to 9 a.m. for real talk, real analysis, and real perspectives on the stories shaping our nation. News, current affairs, and voices from the ground, unfiltered and unapologetic. That's The Ground Report. Weekday mornings on Talk City 91.1, where the conversation begins.
This is Destra, and right now you're listening to Talk City 91.1. Keep it locked.
6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Join Andy Williams and Lennox Smith, the Ground Report team, as they rip apart the lies, half-truth, and misinformation that the mainstream media never discuss. The Ground Report. Hard-hitting, informative, undiluted, uncompromising, and unfiltered. Monday to Friday. Get the raw facts before making any life-changing decisions. Only on The Ground Report.
The Ground Report. The Ground Report.
The government of Trinidad and Tobago is not closing down Petrotrin.
The Ground Report. The Ground Report.
I would think that there's been very clear that all the employees of Petrotrin will exit the company. All.
The Ground Report with Andy Williams and Lennox Smith.
must make government work for the people rather than have the people work to keep a government in place. There's no one.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Time check. It's about 16 minutes past the hour of 6 o'clock. And you're listening to the Ground Report on Talk City 91.1 FM. And you're also listening to us and viewing us on our social media platforms. On Real Media TT, Facebook, Real Media TT, YouTube, Corridor Transformation on YouTube. 648 Television on YouTube. Not forgetting the Ground Report, just simply the Ground Report on YouTube. And how can we forget? You can also get it at Talk City 9191 FM on Facebook and on YouTube and on Twitter. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. And don't forget, we have the Honorable Minister Kennedy Sarat Singh to be interviewed today right here on the Ground Report, where you know we ask the hard questions. As the Minister of Planning, Economic Development, and the Minister in the Ministry of Finance. Whoa! That's a heavy ministry, huh? And we're going to ask the heavy question. And don't forget, you'll be able to also text your question via WhatsApp, or you can put it up to on our social media platform there. And we're going to ask the minister. Make sure those questions are legitimate questions. Because you know the Ground Report is a no-nonsense program.
And if our God is for us, then who could ever stop us? And if our God...
Let me say pleasant good morning to all maxi taxi drivers, PH drivers, bus drivers, truckers, panel vans, to all my drivers this morning. A pleasant good morning to you.
What can stand against?
Bang, 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 bang.
The Ground Report with Andy Williams and Lennox Smith.
For those of you that listen to us in the East, West, North, Central, and in Tobago, good morning to each and every one of you. Tobago, good morning to you.
Bang, bang, bang.
Well, you all know we don't want to stick. So what we're going to do, we'll let it take in a little Gordon. Just a little thing. Listen to the lyrics of this tune now. I'm going to take off that bass day. Listen to it.
Into the darkness you shine. Out of the ashes we rise. There's no one like you. None like you.
There's none like Almighty God. Listen, Trinidad.
Our God is greater. Our God is stronger. God, you are higher than any other. Our God is healer. Awesome in power. Our God.
Oh God, my God. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Into the darkness you shine. Out of the ashes we rise. There's no one like you.
bang, 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 bang.
The Ground Report with Andy Williams and Lennox Smith.
We must make government work for the people rather than have the people work to keep a government in place.
You must develop a sense of self-reliance. You must develop a sense of confidence. And you must know and remember that parliamentarians are your servants and that you are the lords of the land. And so I ask you to put your hand on your heart, every one of you, and shout after me, I am the government. Louder, I am the government. I am the government.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Trinidad and Tobago with no further ado, because it's always important, especially to me, when we have a minister in the Ministry of Finance, when it comes to the money and then planning, in which Trinidad and Tobago have lapsed for quite a while under the former regime. And then we come and we have this honorable man that knows controls too. And to bring that economic change and planning to the development of Trinidad and Tobago. I have my questions waiting here, I wonder if it's a start one time with my first question, boy, and then I go introduce Lennox Smith, I feel I want to pose the first question to the Honorable Minister Kennedy Sarad Singh. Yes? Yeah. Let the pitbull pose the first question. Yeah, man, and then my co-host Lennox, let me say morning to my co-host Lennox Smith, not forgetting to Director Snipes, a pleasant good morning to you. My first, yeah.
Pleasant good morning, Andy.
Nice, I want to get off the ball, man. To speak to us. Right. Somebody send this question with immediate effect. It's important to ask to the people this morning because there is too much speculations. Yes, it's too much speculations out there concerning what the government is doing or not doing when it comes and asks about the rumors about the IMF. Is this government going to the IMF? Look at that. I said same morning to the Honorable Minister. The Honorable Minister Trinidad and Tobago himself get back the opportunity to say morning. What a disrespectful pitbull this morning. But we come down here to deal with all the business one time. Is this government, that's a rumor, but this government is heading to the IMF. Now let me say good morning to the Honorable Minister and good morning to my co-host Lennox Smith. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Andy. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you for having me this morning.
Nice. Snipes, the way you just fix that mic there, boy. I hear him, but Lennox Smith, good morning to you, my brother.
Good morning to you, my friend. So again, with a high degree of effervescence this morning. Maybe it's because of the guest that is with us. Of course, a dynamic man himself from the information that we would have gleaned. And of course, I'm talking about none other than the Minister of Planning, Economic Affairs, and of course development, and of course in the Ministry of Finance as well. Of course, the Honorable Kennedy Singh. So yes, Andy, he is here. You want to go ahead? You want to open the bowl and fine, but of course I have my questions here as well.
All right, you have your questions there as well. Well, all right, sir. The IMF, in fact. The IMF. People are saying that this administration will be going to IMF, including the opposition, all those various things. What's the truth or non-truth to that?
All right. Thank you very much for the question. And the short answer is no. The IMF visits a number of countries to do what is called an Article 4 consultation, which we just concluded in Trinidad and Tobago. And that is a standard thing that they do across the globe annually to get a sense as to what the government is doing, what direction that we're going in, ask some questions, get some data, and then they'll publish a report. That is what has been concluded, and the Minister of Finance would have put out a press release a day or two ago summarizing some of what would have been discussed.
I also want to ask the next question. I saw today's news whereby the World Bank is coming to Trinidad and Tobago, because you mentioned that we cannot expect economic gains when it comes to the energy sector anytime too soon. What is the plus for the people of Trinidad and Tobago having the World Bank here in Trinidad and Tobago?
Thank you, but that's actually an excellent question. So two things. One is that you may have recalled that once, when we got into government, the Prime Minister would have asked me to visit, or sent me to visit Washington to have discussions with both the the IDB and the World Bank. Coming out of those discussions, the World Bank has indicated that they would very much like to set up an office in Trinidad. So we started this process as soon as we got into government on the instructions of the Honorable Prime Minister. Cabinet has already approved the establishment of the World Bank, or the World Bank establishing an office in Port of Spain, and we have been negotiating and finalizing the agreement led by the Attorney General's office. And so we are very far advanced in those discussions. The final stage would be to finalize that agreement and to then go to the Parliament to set up the immunities legislation so that they can, like the IDB and the Latin American Development Bank, the persons who come to work in Trinidad and Tobago will have the immunities required to set up such an agency. So the long and short of it is that the World Bank is one of those institutions that can bring a lot of assistance, not just to the government, but also to the business and the private sector in Trinidad and Tobago. And so we're very keen to have them set up an office in Port of Spain. And it's the World Bank Group. It is not the World Bank alone, in the sense that the World Bank Group have a number of agencies that provide additional services, the International Financial Center, IFC, Amiga, and other agencies. They're all coming as part of that World Bank Group. And we're hoping to have them in Port of Spain within the next couple of months.
Wow, Lennox.
Well, yes, all I can say is wow, 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 because of course you took the words right out of my mouth in terms of one of the questions that I would have asked. But having said that, the substantive minister just recently came from what is called a roadshow, yes, where of course that was oversubscribed. I think he went seeking $1 billion US and ended up, of course, being oversubscribed by 2-point-something billion. Tell us what drove that need to go on that roadshow first and foremost, and then the results of it, the success of it. How does that reflect for Trinidad and Tobago in terms of benefits?
Well, let me just sort of take us back a little bit. First of all, when we got into government, as you would have recalled, we took up office in May of 2025, and then we had to go into a budget preparation process. Shortly afterwards, we would have had Standard & Poor's come to do a visit, then Moody's, and of course the IMF in the recent weeks. The Minister of Finance has done a fantastic job guiding Trinidad and Tobago to maintain our investment grade. Having maintained that investment grade throughout those reviews of the agencies last year, and successfully piloting the budget in October, November of last year, a couple of things that we would have also inherited. One is that there was a $1 billion facility that was becoming due later on in 2026, and so the Minister of Finance and the team at the Ministry of Finance, under the guidance of the Honorable Prime Minister, felt it prudent to go on the road in advance to make sure that we can cover that facility when it matures. So that money is to make sure that we're able to service that facility when it matures later in 2026.
Yeah, I understand it would be in August of this year. In fact.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes. Well, of course you are attempting to, of course, avoid the what is called in the financial world debt wall, the debt wall, where you have so much things to cover at one point in time. So tell us what specifically that will now address, because I reached yet the revitalization initiative of this government, which is massive in all dimensions, and therefore would put Trinidad and Tobago, frankly, once it materializes in a particular position, hegemony, political, economic, etc., etc. So let's say.
Yeah, but I mean, it's quite important. And if you look at the consultations you would have had or the reviews you would have had by the rating agencies last year, one of the things that they keep bringing up is, you have this debt coming, this facility becoming due in August of next year. How will you treat it? What, coming in as a new government, will we have the confidence of the investor community? So it's very important for the Minister of Finance to be able to demonstrate that Trinidad and Tobago has the economic power to not just to service such facilities as the one becoming due later on this year, but also, and that's why the oversubscription is quite important, that Trinidad and Tobago is still a place people want to invest in, attract particular kinds of investors. And so it's really establishing confidence in the economy, confidence in the economic direction, as prescribed by the Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance, and that Trinidad and Tobago, as the Prime Minister have said, is open for business. And that will link to the revitalization strategy and so on. So it's important for a government to have a strategic focus, a strategic direction. It is not enough for us to say, well, here we are open for business, come and see. It's about us articulating a particular vision, articulating plans, and demonstrating that and that's why it's important to address things like ease of business. It's important to make sure that all the agencies as well that support all these plans are in song with what the government is trying to do, and everybody's positioned to be able to support those initiatives. So the Minister of Finance, having gone on that roadshow, would have come back very hopeful, and that the results of what he would have taken in the international forum would not just yield results, but also demonstrate, that Trinidad and Tobago has the capacity in order to service its obligations and to raise additional capital when they choose to do so.
In fact, he came back very buoyant, frankly.
Very buoyant.
Yes.
And he did a really excellent job.
Yes, from all indicators, that is in fact so. But I want to focus as well on, go back to what Andy mentioned in part, but also to, of course, bring both of them together. I'm talking here about the fourth consultation of the IMF. That's one. I know that the minister, the substantive minister, has commented on indicating that there is some recommendations that the government will not adopt because it is people-centered as opposed to accounts-centered, numbers-centered, right? And of course, I want to link that with the report of Moody and our status in terms of being able to attract capital on the international market. And I'm saying so in the context that there's a school of thought, of course, led by the opposition, that somehow that would lead to both reports will lead to some kind of disaster because the government appear to be inept, for want of a better word.
There are two things, Lennox, and I think you're very right in the sense that the Minister of Finance, I think, and it's quite accurately so, when agencies like the IMF come, they obviously come with their own perception and their way of accounting.
Right.
We have to be, as a government, the IMF will put out its report eventually, and its report may have a number of recommendations. Some we may choose to follow, some we may choose to ignore. But obviously, there's a difference between, and that's, if you think in terms of how businesses operate and how governments operate, it's two entirely different things, different ways of operating. We have to think about, we have a social responsibility. So some things that may not make business sense, but is required for a social framework and support. Businesses, for example, don't provide the type of social umbrella that we as a government have to provide.
Yes.
So the Minister of Finance is quite right, and we would look at that and any recommendations or report that the IMF. In fact, I think that that sometimes what these agencies tend to do is give us a reflection as to how they will see some of the things that we are doing and how they interpret how that will impact on economic development and so on. And that's fair, and we would look at it, and obviously there'll be good things and bad things inside of it. But that is the prescription that we have to deal with. In terms of what the opposition have to say, I mean, to be honest, one of the things that I am very, very disappointed in, because I was once part of the PNM,
right,
and I did serve under Patrick Manning, and you know what they call it, Vision 2030, Vision 2020. At the end of the day, a lot of what Patrick Manning started never flourished under the last administration. And so, in my respectful view, they are part of the reason as to why we are where we are today. And coming out of that, it's almost as if you had 10 years of where the country was at a virtual standstill. And in today's world, when you're standing still, you're in fact going backwards.
Yes.
Because the world is moving at a very fast clip. You know, so what we have inherited, you know, and I'm very I'm very slow to quote.
No, well, I want to hear that. I really want to hear that. What you all inherited?
What we have inherited is a number of things that we have to fix.
Oh, boy. yeah. That is refrain, yes.
And I mean, and you look at it. You look in the last budget, for example, the Minister of Finance would have had to deal with the NIB situation. The NIB actual report sat in the Ministry of Finance for a number of years without and if we did not do anything, but the fund would have become insolvent by in the early 2030s.
Right.
So now that we have taken some prescriptions to deal with that, of course, extend the life of the fund until 2049. I mean, there are other things that we will have to do as well, but that's one. Then the amount of not just the debt that we have inherited, the amount of indebtedness we heard across ministries, bills that were not paid.
Yes.
Then public officers have not had a salary increase since 2013. And when you look at the collective period we're dealing with, 2013 and 2019, 2014 and 2019, we still have
a deficit outstanding. Yes.
You know, and then all the agreements that were signed, but were never, some of the agreements were signed, but you don't have any dates on them. So you now have to find ways to satisfy. So there are a significant amount of things. And outside of that, you have also inherited an economy that has been where revenues have been falling for a number of years. The economy has been stagnant. And if you look, those same Moody's reports that you will see, the things that they keep saying to us is that they are coming here year after year and hearing the same things over and over and over. And we have not progressed as a country. So it is left up to this Prime Minister, this Minister of Finance, this government to start making hard decisions.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier, you just in passing, that the ease of doing business. And of course, it is well known some 80% of our revenue comes from the oil, gas, and petrochemical sector.
Well, no, 30% of our revenue, but 80% of our exports.
Exports. Okay, right, good. Right. So I stand corrected there. But the point I am making here is that there has been set up an interministerial committee to look at how investors fare and to expedite, and of course under the supervision of the Honorable Prime Minister herself. Just explain that for us and why you have to implement such an initiative.
Well, one of the things that I think the Prime Minister very early did, and in my view has been one of the keys to and will be a significant fillip for our success, is to set up clusters.
Okay.
So part of the problem that you have in government is that sometimes the right hand don't know what the left hand is doing. You find, for example, you're doing things in one agency, but the next agency sort of not blocking it, but not acting on with a sense of urgency.
Right.
So there are a couple of clusters she set up, and two very important ones. One is in finance, and so the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Trade, Ministry of Energy, Minister in Foreign Affairs, and the Minister of Planning. We form what is called an economic cluster.
Okay.
And then, of course, you have a cluster in the national security sphere, with the Minister of Defense, Minister of Homeland Security, the Attorney General, Minister of Justice, Minister of Land and Legal Affairs. That cluster as well. So, and those are two very important clusters. When I was at the University of the West Indies on Monday, Dr. Hossain was at pains to point out that one of the things that help investor confidence as well is reduction in crime, reduction in murders.
Yes.
And he said if the government can bring in about another 20%, it would lead to other new types of investment. But it's important to understand that those clusters also eliminate roadblocks, eliminate stumbling blocks, and so things that are still in that cluster that allow us to recognize the role that each ministry will play. I mean, the role of trade, tourism, and Ministry of Industry, Trade and Tourism is a very important ministry that have to facilitate a lot of international trade. And of course, the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Planning and Economic Affairs, we make up a substantial portion of the economic thrust of the country. And it's important for us to collaborate. And then outside of that, you would have seen in recent times, the EMA would have given about 3 CECs to Parenco, to Exxon. Exxon got the CEC a whole month in advance, in record time.
Yes.
And then, of course, Town and Country Planning, we set up what is called a priority portal. It is estimated that over the last 5 years or so, failures of EMA and Town and Country and so on have led to almost a few $1 billion in potential projects dissipating. In fact, with the EMA, it might run into about over $10 to $20 billion. When people can't get their approvals and they can't get their regulatory requirements exercised in a timely manner, obviously they have other places that they can invest in, there are other things that they can do. And so capital will not wait for you to get your act together.
That's true.
Hence the reason why Minister John in Works and Infrastructure, I mean, a lot of persons are working very, very hard to make sure that we can facilitate. And I think that's where government has to ultimately recognize. You see, as government, sometimes what we tend to do is to suck all the oxygen out of investments and so on. That we are the largest employer, we largest investor, largest everything. Government, what the Prime Minister have asked us to do is to become is to facilitate, to coordinate, to cause to happen.
Yes.
Bring the private sector as key partners, expand manufacturing, look for export markets. So we have to, in revitalizing the economy, there are a number of things that we have to do, and that's why working as teams, bulldozing bureaucratic roadblocks are very, very critical to raise Trinidad and Tobago along that spectrum of the ease of business.
Magnificent.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
Just let me just follow up here. You introduced the revitalization initiative sometime at I think at the Diplomatic Center. Right. And coming out of that, the Minister of Works, yes, Ms. Honorable Julian John, she had indicated that just below 1,000 expression of interest across the various initiatives. Just explain that, because I think that is important, because we're talking about 70,000 jobs coming out of that process, and job today is, of course, a major issue, having regard, of course, to the closure of CPEP and ERP and so on. I mean, and that is at the lowest scale, but nonetheless important, because it's people we're talking about.
Nice,
so
but before you even
give us
answer that,
yeah.
because there's a twofold question around the same question that Lennox Smith asked there, based on, because while you're all talking there, people out there, they're listening to maxis, the taxis, all the governing, all they're doing a great job so far. People still saying, remember, they need work, plumbers need work, masons need work, carpenters need work. All right, you mentioned, which everybody could accrue with, all your meet our economy in a mess. The last government did a real mess of things. But you did mention at a UE conference on Monday that you had a meeting with some developers, and noting that about $650 million in projects have been approved. Can you elaborate a little further on that? Which I could still with Lennox question there too.
Yeah, of course, because it's about generating employment. That is where the focus really is.
Correct. So but a couple of things, just to go back to some of the things that Lennox would have alluded to. The important thing to understand as well, once you've gotten past some of the initial hurdles in terms of the agencies and so on, is, and as people would rightly demand, you have to now action that in a tangible way. And so the Honorable Prime Minister keep reminding us that, you need to actually start things. So where we would have focused a lot of our energies as well is to support local initiatives. And so I don't want to specifically talk about some of the things here because I would leave that for the Prime Minister to announce at the appropriate time.
Okay.
But I can tell you that one of the things that we've been focused on, especially locally, is making sure that we assist in certain sectors to expand initiatives, especially in the manufacturing sphere. There are a couple of, and these are private sector initiatives. These are not public initiatives.
Right.
Let me just premise it by saying, I think people need to understand the reality of what we would have inherited as a government. As a government, when we came into power, every dollar we earn, almost 93, 94, 95 cents of that dollar goes into pensions, salaries, transfers, subsidies, and debt repayment. You only had about 5 or 6 cents of every dollar that could have put towards infrastructure and investments. Debt to GDP was extremely high. Very little fiscal space. You can't borrow your way out of this. Then, of course, that is outside of the indebtedness, the bills that weren't paid by the former government.
Right.
That is outside of a debt obligation that you have external. So when you think about the fiscal space you have, it is very, so you have to rely on, or you have to encourage the local private sector to invest more. And that's where, you would have recalled the Minister of Trade, the Minister of Finance, and myself started to meet with a number of chambers of industry and commerce and try to network and share what some of government's initiatives are and getting people to be involved. So you have two sets of investments. You have external investors and you have internal investors. The Minister of Works and Infrastructure would have gone on several trips to sell the revitalization strategy. Those would take. That's why your 900, your less than under 1,000 expression of interest.
Yes.
And she's working very assiduously to fast track some of those things. See what is realistic, what can happen, and get them going. In the interim, you also, in other words, it's an all-prong approach. Getting local investors to invest more, getting them to be able to expand their businesses. And getting international investors to be sufficiently enthusiastic about what is happening here to bring their monies into the economy. Now, that is also very, very important because what you find happening is that when you don't have the amount of revenues you have coming in, you have to bring foreign direct investment in order to be able to bring foreign effects into the island, in order to be able to expedite and increase economic activity. So you get work in construction, so the carpenters and the persons you talk about and so on. Now, you have to remember as well that we are now 9 months into government.
Yes.
And so I think during the next, hopefully the next 4 to 5 months, my expectation is that you will see an acceleration of economic activity. But again, it starts with building that confidence, it's creating that roadmap, that blueprint, so to speak, so that people could understand what you're trying to do and be enthusiastic about wanting to participate and partner with government in doing that. And I think that's where the Prime Minister has been very, 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 very important, because some of the things that the Prime Minister have established and led has also created that emphasis. I mean, you can't underestimate the reduction in crime, how that has led it into convince people wanting to bring their money here. You can't, I mean, the kind of leadership that is exercised by the Prime Minister, and that's why when the Minister of Finance went on to that roadshow, it is with that confidence that Trinidad and Tobago is prepared to make hard decisions, is prepared to address the roadblocks for investment opportunities, and is prepared to and is being very actively led by a Prime Minister who's prepared to get into the trenches.
Nice.
With the minister.
Next hard question, very, very hard question again, because again, it have people out there, at the end of the day, yes, all they have to do the right thing, but the electorate out there, let me be real, may not understand or have the knowledge of what is really going on. It have some train of thought out there, people are saying that they're catching the tail more under this administration, this new administration, than the PNM, and that is all you have them, this new administration, all you have them under real pressure. Is that truth? Is that not truth? Could you all clear here, or you all have a way that you all don't want to scare foreign investors or investors in Trinidad and Tobago by not coming out and telling the people of Trinidad and Tobago the truth when it coming to, well, playing out when it coming to the economy? So people are saying under all the government, they're catching the tail more, and it's best the PNM that stay there. What says thou?
Well, there are two things. One is that I think people also have to understand that we would have taken a budget to Parliament in October, November last year. From May to October, November, we were operating on a budget that was established by the People's National Movement and the former government. When you think in terms of and again, you have to understand how public sector financing is structured. We are now into 4 or 5 months of our budget. So from May to October of last year, you're operating, it's almost as if you're going in a house, but you can't start to renovate it until you deal with the things that you would have find in the house itself, and that took a lot of time to ease. No, I am not one, and I try very hard to focus on facts and things that are relevant. But I think it's really important and that's where I think sometimes people need to recognize that the economy that we inherited is one that has been broken for a long time. It will take time to fix it, and as you said, you need to be real with the people. My general feeling is that this year is going to be a year of difficult decisions for people and for government. As you try to rebuild, there is no easy way to rebuild. You have to put block by block, and that's why I'm saying everybody have to get involved. Everybody have to become the private sector, the public sector. Everybody have to be focused on how we can take Trinidad and Tobago forward. So I am very hopeful, and I think the Prime Minister has been very, very keen in coming forward with plans that can take Trinidad and Tobago to the next level. But it will happen. But of course, it's going to happen piece by piece, block by block, decision by decision. So again, we inherited a budget. We put our budget in October, November last year. We are now beginning to see the fruits of that, and that's what the IMF would have indicated, that there is signs of economic recovery through the Article 4 consultation. Recovery takes time, but you have signs that it's heading in the right direction and is trending upwards. Of course, in University West Indies on Monday, they would have shared that over the last 10 years, economic participation rate has fallen down to 54.4%. The productivity rate has declined. So even though the economy is trending in the right direction, we have some difficult things that we have to deal with. You have to get the participation rate up. You have to get the productivity rate up. You have to get greater foreign direct investment coming in. You have to get the private sector to do a little bit more. But we are now in going into the 4th month of our budget. And so
nice.
We are heading in the right direction.
Nice hard question, man. Next wait, one more Lennox. We have to go again.
Go ahead.
Next hard question. People are also, it have a train of thought out there that you all in opposition get it coming into government mention about taxes. People are complaining that your administration now, the UNC administration, yes, in which I and all support, that there seem plenty taxes, whether it be by the port, this, that. And people are saying, some people understand. But what they're saying is communications with you all are lacking. That just come out and tell people the truth. Well, here it is, we had a tax because this we had to do, that we had to do. But why you all administration, or have you all administration gone back on your word when it comes to taxing? And are taxing the people right now because people are complaining that you all are taxing. I can understand the fines. Because a fine is something, if you don't break the law, you got to pay a fine. But tax is mandatory across the board. What the tax thing coming from Let me hear on you, the Ministry of Finance. I wish the Honorable Minister, my good friend, Mr. Dave Tanku was there, sit down too, man. Tax, let's hear about that tax thing.
Well, again, part of what the government has inherited as well is, when you look across the board, a number of things have not happened for quite a few years, and so we have had to look to see how we can get some of these agencies to start operating at a higher level, and contributing to government's revenues. Let me give you an example. The revenue, the Barbados. Sorry, I remember I spent 15 years in
Yes,
Barbados.
yes, so that is
The Board of Inland Revenue. The Board of Inland Revenue, when we came into government, had a 30 to 35% employee presence, and so it was decimated, and so we had not been collecting the kind of taxes that we should have been collecting. Then, so we had to get persons inside of there. Across the board, when you think in terms of what has happened in a number of agencies and in a number of facilities that we would have had, things have not increased. Things are not. So while it moved quite high quite quickly, at the end of the day, we have to bring places to the point where we are keeping current with where things are going, not just in terms of how much it costs to produce something, but also how these things can contribute to government's revenues without having to move to areas where everybody is taxed across the board. So I wouldn't say that we have increased. What I think we would have done is put some rationale and create a level playing field. At the end of the day, what the Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance have been at pains to do is to try to find ways in which everybody can contribute to the development of the economy, and the burden not falling on only a few. Now, when it comes to things like alcohol and cigarette, what is called sin tax, and maybe and those are things that persons who want to participate in that, I'm not
so inclined.
I'm not.
Okay, so
yeah.
Ground Report and Minister, we're heading for the news, and if you would just allow us 2 minutes inside the next hour, that we can
Yes.
get on.
So we'll pause for a cause, so to speak. So people, of course, we will be back with, of course, a minister. Stay tuned. We go for the news, and when we come back, more on this edition of the Wrong Board, right here on, of course, the Talk City 91.1.
Good morning. This is your TTT News Update. I'm Carrie Roberts, making the news at this time. Energy expert Javed Razak says TNT could expect several major energy milestones over the next 2 years. Speaking on Trinidad and Tobago today, he laid out a detailed timeline for what the public should expect between now and first gas, projected for 2027 or early 2028. He described the multi-stage industrial build-outs already in motion, beginning with pipeline works and culminating with offshore installation of a purpose-built platform currently being fabricated at Tofco in La Brea.
The biggest milestone that you'll see coming up is drilling to start. There are a few wells going to be drilled, of course, to produce that gas. That starts later this year. And then when that's finished, there's a bunch of subsea work that has to be done to connect all the production wells and so on to the different pipelines and so on. And then there's the platform that is being built, the jacket is being built at Tofco in La Brea. So when that platform is loaded out and gets offshore, that'll be another huge milestone. So those things you'll see over the course of this year and next year being announced.
He noted that the long-delayed Loran Manatee field had been stuck for years because both countries attempted to approve a joint development with Venezuela. He said 2/3 of the reservoir lies in Venezuelan waters, but believes shifting U.S.-Venezuela dynamics could eventually allow Loran to be tied into Trinidad's infrastructure as well.
2/3 on the Venezuela side, 1/3 on the Trinidad side, and for many years they tried to get the entire project approved, right? But of course, getting a cross-border project approved with Venezuela has not proved easy over the years. It's it has bounced around quite a lot, and a few years ago it was delinked to allow both countries to independently develop its own resources. So Shell has gone ahead and has got its final investment decision from Manatee, which is the Trinidad side. And I feel like now, as things have changed geopolitically with Venezuela and the U.S., there is high potential for Loran to eventually be brought on as well.
Minister of Planning, Dr. Kennedy Swarat Singh, says TNT's long overdue national census will take roughly 18 months to complete, warning that the country can no longer afford to wait. Dr. Swarat Singh said the exercise is essential to repairing what he described as the country's broken data infrastructure. He noted that ministries and state agencies have been forced to operate with outdated and incomplete information for years.
In the public service is about 20,000 permanent jobs that have never been filled. So, when you look in terms of the gaps in employment, there's significant jobs available. The Ministry of Works and Infrastructure has been on trying to get people to fill positions, and there are significant meaningful jobs across the public service, permanent jobs that have to be filled.
The minister also revealed that the Central Statistical Office could soon become a statutory authority aimed at giving the CSO more independence and the ability to produce national statistics on time.
There has been a proposed change for the CSO to become a statutory authority, and that hasn't been taken at the cabinet, but that is the proposal that will ultimately get the cabinet, which has the support of UNDP as well. So they're bringing up some technical experts.
Trinidad and Tobago's last census was completed in 2011. Now, with thousands expected to flock to the nation's beaches over the long carnival weekend, the Ministry of Defense has rolled out expanded lifeguard coverage across Trinidad, which commences from Thursday. The move comes amid an active hazardous seas bulletin issued by the Trinidad and Tobago Meteorological Service. In a public advisory issued on Tuesday evening, the ministry announced that lifeguards will be deployed across all major recreational beaches from February 12th to the 18th. The coverage extends from the North Coast popular hotspots, including Maracas and Las Cuevas, to South and East Coast favorites, including Vesney, Lociro, Queenam, Toco, Salivia, and Manzanilla. The expansive Mayaro shoreline will also see full lifeguard presence, particularly at Church Road, St. Anne's, Beaumont, Pleasance, Rabita, and Radix. The ministry said although certified lifeguards will be deployed at these designated beaches, it urged the public to remain vigilant and exercise extreme caution when entering the water. And that's what's making the news at this time. I'm Carrie Roberts.
That was TTT News on Talk City 91.1 FM.
Every morning begins with a story, the headlines you need, the voices you trust, the conversations shaping our nation. Welcome to Trinidad and Tobago Today, where your day starts informed and inspired. News that matters to you, conversations that spark new ideas, stories that move Trinidad and Tobago forward. Tune in weekdays, Monday to Friday at 6 a.m. or join the conversation on any smart device at TNT Today Show. Trinidad and Tobago Today. Start here, exclusively on TTT. These are not just stories, they are the echoes of who we are, passed down in voices, in silence, and in memory. From the heart of the Caribbean, where history, mystery, and magic meet, this is Echoes of Our Folklore. Echoes of Our Folklore. Your weekly journey into the legends, stories, and whispers of our islands. Brought to you by Talk City 91.1 FM. You may wonder, how can a tree become a legend? But for centuries, one towering giant has stood not just as part of the landscape, but as part of the lore. They call it the silk cotton tree, also known as the ceiba, the kapok, the jumbi tree. Its massive roots grip the earth, its branches stretch high into the sky, and its shadow carries stories older than memory. Long before the modern world, the first peoples of Trinidad, the Amerindians, believed this tree was a dwelling place for spirits. They didn't worship it, but they revered it. Later, when Africans were brought to the island, they too learned to respect the silk cotton. So deeply, in fact, that many refused to cut it down for timber. That fear still lives today. Engineers, planners, workers, even with blueprints in hand, have been known to walk away rather than disturb a silk cotton tree. Better to reroute a road than to awaken what lies within. For the old stories warn, inside the trunk, inside the roots, dwell spirits not meant to be disturbed. And if you dare to cut it, if you strike the silk cotton, if you chop away even a single piece, the lore says you will be struck dead. Immediately, no second chances, no mercy, just silence. So when you pass one on a lonely road, when its massive branches loom above you in the moonlight, remember, in the Caribbean, some trees are not just trees. They are guardians, they are warnings, they are alive with stories we were never meant to forget. Another tale from our islands, reminding us that the past, the spirits, and the stories of our ancestors are never far away. You've been listening to Echoes of Our Folklore. Echoes of Our Folklore. Only on Talk City 91.1 FM.
This is Destra, and right now you're listening to Talk City 91.1. Keep it locked.
Nice, nice. We are back. Yes, man, time check. It's 8 minutes past your 7 o'clock. And you're listening to the Ground Report. Yours truly, the pitbull of radio, Lennox Smith, the big word man, Director Snipes, and the Honorable Minister Siraj Singh, Minister of Planning and Economic Development, and in the Ministry of Finance. So before all I know, I just go take it one time. Stink and Dirty is the Minister of Planning, Trinidad and Tobago, and it have a lot of residents and businesses that are angry at this point in time, wondering if within a carnival season, these businesses should be closed up or closing up, because to them it makes no sense. What is his ministry, or if his ministry have any say when it coming to planning to make sure that kind of congestion it had there to the North Coast with this Stink and Dirty party? What is the futuristic planning to quell that, to deal with that? Or that is not within your portfolio, Minister? Would you be able to deal with that for us?
Directly within my portfolio, but let me just hazard a suggestion. I mean, I think we need to, the time has come for us maybe to look to see how we plan some of these things better. Okay. And in the sense that, for example, Chagaramas has always had a congestive bottleneck when it comes to going on in the peninsula. It's one way in, one way out. And when you ordinarily, it's difficult, but when, of course, you have a deluge of persons going in. And so maybe some of the things that we can do, I mean, we do have facilities that we don't use. So, for example, private yachting arrangements or boating arrangements can be made. Persons park in the parkade and go down there by boat as opposed to by car. But we need to have proper venues for these things. It is not enough for us to say that that people have been inconvenienced, businesses have been inconvenienced. So I think we have to plan these things a little better, find the right venues for some of these things, and make sure that, because you're dealing with several, you have a right to enjoyment, but you also have a right for business. Yeah. How all those rights could coexist requires better planning and execution.
Yeah, magnificent, magnificent. But before we go to the burning question here of the diversification of the economy that would achieve the ultimate goal, I suppose, of the government, the Prime Minister literally read the Rat Act to the Energy Chamber. Could you just elaborate on that if you have the information? Because I mean, it's in the public domain, but I want to comment. I want to come from another official dump, so to speak.
Well, as you would know, I've been out of Trinidad for 15 years, so I don't have a history of some of these things recently. But at the end of the day, I think what the Prime Minister is alluding to, the fact that we need to have greater participation of local participation and how it impacts on persons who are in the industry from a local perspective.
Right.
And I think she's very, very keen, and rightly so, to make sure that Trinidad and Tobago benefits from the things that Trinidad and Tobago are involved in, and that people in the local sphere are not are allowed or have a greater participation in some of these things.
I see, and that's from the energy perspective because
and it's across the board.
Across the board.
I mean, in the banking sector, in the energy sector, in all sectors. I think she has felt, and I think, and it's shared by all of us, that over the last 10 years or so, that persons have been that these things have been dominated by a few.
A few, yeah. Elitist grouping. And some people call them 1%, but
well, I mean, yeah, it's different. But at the end of the day, the fact is that there needs to be greater participation.
From our director or manager, our program manager, he's saying that there is a troubling situation where employers are not paying their NIS and other benefits that they legally are committed to their respective, of course, employees, and what the government would be doing to look at that. And I am saying that in the context of that NGC and TNTech, for example, whilst of course that is government agency to government agency, but there are major private sector entities that are also owing either NGC or TNTech, and therefore you have that ripple effect, if you want to call it, or that negative chain scenario. Just want to, get your view on that and how the government is proposed to address that.
Well, I mean, statutory obligations are statutory obligations.
That's right.
And every employer needs to fulfill those obligations. And again, they are already prescribed the penalties and so on if people fail to do those things. I think one of the other things that would have come up in recent times is our ability to enforce some of these things.
Right.
And to be very vigilant. And that's where I think the vacancies across the public service also impact negatively on some of these things. And so once we're able to get, so for example, in the BIR, there's an establishment position of about 60 tax officers. When we came in, there were none.
There were none, all right.
And field officers as well. Again, they had none. So those are things that we had to fill in order to get people to do some of the
regulatory work,
the regulatory reviews and audits and so on. So, but statutory obligations, there is no excuse to not fulfilling any statutory obligation when it comes to NIS, taxes, or any other obligation. Sorry, your second question was?
No, I just wanted to focus there again because it's very, very important. Having regard to the situation with NGC and TNTech, and then of course you have private sector people owing TNTech in turn, and you have this, of course, shortage or cash flow difficulty as a consequence.
Next question
do you monitor and create enforcement? Because that seems to be the bugbear here.
Well, and again, you see, I think, as I've said it before, I said it before and I'll say it again, everybody needs to do their part in order to build an economy. And for far too long, we have had this scenario where Peter paying for Paul, or this one carrying more burden than the other one. And I think what the Minister of Finance tried to do in the budget under the direction of the Prime Minister is create a fair system where everybody have to be able to do what they need to do in order to make the economy hum once again. If we don't do that, it is oftentimes the burden shared by some more than others. And creating that fairness mechanism require a different sense of how you restructure and reorganize the economy, and make sure that and it also impacts on agencies.
Yes.
Whether it be NGC, TNTech, all the agencies have to function in such a way where because you have two things, you have revenue and you have expenditure, so that it costs. I mean, give an example. In terms of the NRW for WASA, it's called the non-revenue water. I mean, when you see pipes that are leaking, remember, WASA have to pay to generate that water.
Right.
And when the pipes are leaking, that water then goes into the ground.
Yes.
So, so when you think of an all of government approach, all agencies have to be able to function in a particular way that allow governments to either reduce or manage expenditure profile and gain revenue on the other hand.
So that's why the manpower situation is being addressed in order to make certain that deficiency become efficient now.
Nice.
Right, okay.
Now let me ask my question again, man. I had to ask you hard questions. Next hard question. Every government, we always saying, letting us know, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, about the financial institutions such as the banks plus insurance companies that always advantaging we. They have been advantaging we. What legislations, if any, that you all will be putting in place in order to protect the people of Trinidad and Tobago by these advantageous financial institutions that it have?
Well, again, I think, thank you for the question. That was an excellent question. For me, and again, through the directive of the Honorable Prime Minister and through the Minister of Finance, the Minister of Finance recently called in and been meeting with in the banking sector. And I think he would have alluded to in the budget statement as well. He will not allow the banks to pass on unfair fees and so on to customers. I mean, we have to get the banking sector to understand that the role that they must play, and to be fair to them, they have been playing a significant role, but it has to get infinitely better. We have to be able to support local initiatives. We really don't. And even though there is significant money is reserved for what is called the small, micro, medium enterprise sector, SMEs, people still find it difficult to access facilities. People still find it difficult to become bankable or to get banking support. So there must be a greater role that the banks have to play in supporting small and micro enterprises and supporting. I mean, let me be very specific. When many of us would have gone to the TIC when the manufacturing association have in Macoya, and there are significant amount of small businesses that doing tremendous amount of work but can't get banking support, can't expand because they don't have that. You may not have a business plan that may be written to their specifications, or in some areas the banks are loath to get because they're risk averse. You don't have a track record, you don't have various other things and so on. We have to get to the point where we are very focused, or we should be more focused on supporting small and micro enterprises, supporting small businesses, helping them create. And so the Ministry of Trade, for example, has signed a number of agreements. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Minister of Transportation have signed, since we have come into government, I think 12 air services agreement. So the government is moving at a pace to access air services, foreign markets, create greater access for local businesses to export, but they also need banking support. They need financial support. So we need to invest more. I would love to see, for example, in some of our supermarkets, space dedicated to local products alone. You know, the Minister of Trade launched recently a Buy Local campaign. I don't know that we should be convincing people to buy local. We should be buying local as a matter of course. Whereas fresh juice or local products ought to be supported by us as a matter of course. And so I mean it's something that you see when I lived in the other islands. A lot of people would be very very patriotic in supporting products that are made in different countries. We tend to have a greater propensity for international products as opposed to local products.
Foreign. I'm glad you raised the point, and Andy, thank you as well, because I mean it raises another issue with respect to the banking system. You have a banking ombudsman, for example, which is the regulator, and then of course acts as a regulator, and then you have a real situation. Just about a few days ago, a check was given to a small business person. He goes to the particular, in his name, he goes to the bank where the check is supposed to be cashed, and the bank is telling him that he must have an account in their bank in order for it to be cashed.
Yeah. Well, and so you would have recalled that that when we came into government, we set up what is called a National Payment Center.
Yes.
Part of what they're moving to launch is what is called an electronic KYC. And we are actually meeting with Republic Bank, I think, and a couple of other banks in the next week or two in order to make sure that it is ludicrous. And I think that's where the Minister of AI and Public Administration has been talking to as well. It is ludicrous that in this day and age, we are not advanced enough in our electronic identification processes. And I mean, I've worked internationally. I've set up bank accounts for companies in a matter of 15 minutes in international spheres.
It's pulling tooth here in Trinidad.
I remember, in fact, we had a presentation some time ago from the representative, the local representative of the International Labour Organization, ILO, and he said it took 6 months to get a bank account in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes.
When I came back to Trinidad, this is my own experience. Of course, I've been living out here for 15 years.
Right.
I came back and I got my first salary as a minister, but I got a check because I had no bank account. It took me 6 weeks, probably more, to get a bank account.
Yeah, that is ridiculous.
I am not one of those to go and say, well, listen, I am so and so and so. I went through the system and make my application and I waited. But it took some time. And so that's why I think we have to be able to have a greater adoption of technology. We have to have a greater ease of people
doing business
and just getting these simple basic things done. So I am very, very disappointed that having come back to Trinidad 15, I mean, Trinidad, the technological platform Trinidad has been here for a very long time.
Yeah, and why we are Jurassic.
Let me give you one example that has pained a lot of people entering Trinidad and Tobago. When you go to Barbados, you could, of course, you go online on the BIM app and you fill out your immigration form. When you land in Barbados, you have your form filled out already. You just go, you scan out, you collect your bag, and you walk out.
Yeah.
They have, because I was part of the team that we purchased scanners in the airport in Barbados. So your luggage is scanned before it comes up onto the conveyor belt. So luggages that have to be flagged are flagged, but once your luggage come up, you take your bag and you walk out. You get out of that in record time. People coming to Trinidad have been complaining in recent times why it is we still have to fill out a form. Do you know that the legislation was never updated, and the legislation required you to have paper?
Oh,
yes, that was
in this day and age.
So this
in Trinidad.
In Trinidad. So it's only in November of last year that this government changed that.
Okay.
And now we can move ahead and have an app where you can now fill up. Of course, it will take a time to implement and so on, but that's what we're moving to.
Right, next question after.
Yes, please.
Nice. Next question. The government of Trinidad and Tobago, and this is for business people to contractors and all those various things, and including people who the government may be owing pension and people waiting for their money, all kind of 6 months, 7 months, year. Some people say, well, it look like the government had the money to pay. What legislations you all are putting in place for when people owe the government, it had trouble, it had jail, it had all kind of thing. But when government owing people, government could just do people what they want. What all they putting in place to deal with that aspect? Because I am aware of people that the government are owing and they close down a whole company. And I owing people, I talk in my mind, I owing 1 or 2 hardwares through education fertility center, education facility program, where they close down and then they put it in MTS. Why our government will do our people that, and foreign investors now will watch that, foreign companies will watch that, and that is a turn off. They can make a rip off people.
Well, let's just deal with education facilities first of all. I wasn't here, so I don't have more. But my recollection is that was wound up some time ago, and it's still in courts. So it is still being litigated, and so a number of contracts and contractors are caught up in that. And obviously, once something is within the judicial system, government can't do anything about it. That's first. Secondly, I would have mentioned earlier on the amount of indebtedness that this government would have inherited, bills that have not been paid. Now remember, that's what you have to. That's why I was at pains to point out that when we came into government, we inherited a budget. That budget would have been designed to pay certain bills, but then when the government of the day before April of 2025 did not pay any bills and ran up bills and so on, that far exceeded what was in the
budget, what was budgeted for.
Now you end up in a situation where some of those bills are being brought forward.
Right. Into this administration that has to take care of that.
Into this budget that again should have been satisfied. And some of these bills go back to 2022, 2023, 2024. Wow. So there is no easy way to deal with that. And obviously, what the Minister of Finance have to then rationalize is what can we do given what we would have inherited.
Right, but when we're talking to the LIS, wait, one more quick thing. When it comes, all right, with the contractors, I can understand that, and you all met that or if it go. But when it coming to all your obligations of the government, when it coming to people pension, that all you're owing, and taking long for them to get it, what is the cause of that?
No, but two things. Pensions, sometimes the delay is actually in the bureaucracy of calculating somebody's pension and so on. It is not the inability to pay, because as I would have indicated, the first thing the Ministry of Finance always try to satisfy is salaries and pensions. That is part of something that they try to do every month. That's an obligation on behalf of the government. People's delay sometimes is because if you think about it logically, in the space of or the span of somebody's public sector employment period, you would have worked across different ministries or different agencies. When you have to calculate that pension, you have to go to you have to get the people from each agency. Mm-hmm. You have to make sure that exactly. So those things sometimes are not. It takes time. It is not always very simple to calculate. But once it's calculated, people then get their
but to add to and staying on the pension theme, before we go to diversification, we have to do that before you leave here. The other pension, the national pension, that too has been, inordinately delayed after people would have reached the qualification age. Mm-hmm. And you're talking about the dirt poor, for want of a better term. What is being done? I know the minister has made certain pronouncements, but it is still an issue that is becoming, of course, a talking point as far as people are concerned. And saying, of course, the government is harsh and therefore trying to delay unnecessarily. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I think you're right. I think people ought not to be unduly delayed, but the system is still very bureaucratic. And it still does take a lot of time. And I think we need to find ways to speed those things up. But that is not, some of those things are within the bureaucracy of government,
not the government.
The government, right? And not the want of money.
And not
for the want of money.
Precisely.
The question of the diversity, I know we spoke about, of course, the revitalization and so on, which obviously will have some impact there. But generally, as Minister of Planning, what are some of the what I would consider the takeaways that the population should be aware of in terms of diversification, because that has been talked about from time immemorial and yet still not being achieved. And as a side, I want to say too that when the budget was presented, the government, the government was being asked by the opposition, who just came out of office just around the April of 2025, as to where the money is coming from. And if they were in office, where the money would have come from.
That is the most sorry.
Go ahead.
I mean, that is such a
you're the ground report, is all right.
That is such a dotish thing for them to say. But the thing is that the revitalization strategy or the revitalization plan is premised on getting business and international participation. When we came out, in other words, what we said is that, listen, this is where we want to be in 15 years.
Right.
This is where we want to be in 20 years. We do not have the resources to do it.
Right.
But we do have all of these projects that can be beneficial to you as a business and to us in Trinidad and Tobago from a development perspective.
Very good.
And that is why there is so many expressions of interest. It is people expressing an interest to participate with the government in these, whether it be PPPs, whether it be
public-private
arrangements,
partnership,
whatever these structures are, that people are coming to say, we are sufficiently, we have looked at this, we want to explore the business proposition in this. There is no reason why, for example, that I mean, you go through the places like the United States and other places, prisons are sometimes private. You have you have people providing services in the energy sector, pipes and so on, that the energy companies, those pipes are built and maintained by a particular company. So you have different levels of participation in different things. It is not that these companies aren't doing everything themselves. They outsource some of these things. You go to, you look at the utility, in Barbados, Light and Power is privatized by Amera's, a Canadian company. Grenlec was the same thing. So you go through the airports in Jamaica, both Norman Manley and Sangster airports are operated privately. Airport in Bahamas, I worked on the airport in Bermuda. It's now being operated privately and so on. Quito Airport in Ecuador. In Dominican Republic, Vinci operates 6 airports in the Dominican Republic. These things are not. So the rail, all of those things are private sector initiatives. Right. So what in Trinidad and Tobago, we have long had the history where government doing everything, and there comes a stage where government cannot do everything. And what government is saying, therefore, and through the revitalization strategy, is that come and partner with us, and let us create a business model where the country benefits, and there are initiatives that the private sector can benefit from as well.
And the IMF and Moody's, of course, would have been monitoring and taking note.
But not only that, I think for far too long, they have always, remember I told you that in that 95 cents of every dollar that goes into how it is structured.
Yes.
A large portion of that's what is called transfers and subsidies. We have a significant and a very expanded state-owned enterprise structure. The Minister of Trade would have talked about stranded assets, or assets that are not performing. And the state carries all of those things. So the burden of the state is significantly high when it comes to carrying the economic, the large economic framework of Trinidad and Tobago that can be shared in a more business-oriented manner. Remember, we talked about with the IMF that we have our social obligations.
Yes.
But there are obligations that we can divest in terms of looking at, in the US, you cannot drive on a road in the US and not pay tolls.
Yeah.
So
there are creative ways. Of course, the argument from the opposition now opposition is moot in terms of its effectiveness. Myopic.
It is a stupid argument.
That's a stupid argument, right? Okay.
Sorry.
All right. Finally, from me.
Yes. And then I will ask one more after you. This one will be very, very, very important for the people of Trinidad and Tobago.
The census. The census. One of the objectives, of course, is to determine the level of unemployment across the board. But what I thought was significant is that we never had one such activity since 2011. And it brought me back one time.
The last time Kamla Prasad was Prime Minister.
Well, I juxtapose that with the last time that there was a drastic reduction in murders or crime in this country was in 2014. Again, of course, there seemed some significance there, because of his 44% reduction in 2025. So it appears that seemed to be consistent, and the present administration ought to have been in government since then. But that being as it may, one of the objectives is to determine the level of unemployment. And again, of course, when you juxtapose that with the intent of the revitalization program to generate 70,000 jobs. Just give me the rationale behind it, and of course reconcile that first.
Well, I mean, there are several things. I mean, a lot of people talk about what is the size of our population, what is the age of our population, what are the gaps in our population, how many migrants we have, and I'm not talking only about from Venezuela, but from other places and so on. There are lots of gaps in information, and we just guessing all the time because we just do not know. In household surveys, for example, how many people in the household, how many people are working, how many people are under the age of 15, how many people are over the age of 62, So, how do you plan when you don't have data?
That kind of data.
So true.
How many women as opposed to how many men? Because we talk about whether our population is an aging population, whether what are some of these skills deficiencies that we have and so on. And this census is going to be done both in English and Spanish.
Nice. I understand that it's work for a lot of young people as well.
Yes, we're probably going to be hiring about 50 people.
Nice.
Right.
Quickly. Somebody's asking, please ask the minister about VAT returns for small businesses, because I am waiting since 2019 for mine. So the VAT returns and things for small businesses or maybe big businesses, what's the situation with that?
Well, the operative word is that the wait is in 2019. So that's to tell you, between VAT has these. That's what we inherit. When you think in terms of whether if VAT was being paid, VAT returns being paid all the time, but it wasn't. So there's a vast accumulation now of VAT returns. So I'm not sure, to be honest. I sympathize with the Minister of Finance, because that's the burden that he has to deal with on a daily basis. What bills to pay, because the backlog of unpaid bills that this government has inherited is significant.
Nice. I'm glad you mentioned that. Last and final question, Trinidad and Tobago, which is very important for each and every one of you. Those of you that saying, well, Andy, you're talking broken English. Well, this is how I talk. Lennox will make up for me. The most important thing is the Honorable Minister understands what I'm saying. Right. You talk about all what you all inherited. Right. Politicians put us there. Correct. What you all will be implementing in the future to make sure that people suffer the consequences of their actions? Like, for instance, whether it be a chairman, whether it be a CEO, whether it be a prime minister, whether it be a minister, whether it be a permanent secretary, in order for our next political party not to come to say the same thing over and over, that people are either corrupting the monies or misappropriating the monies via spending and all those things, via wild borrowing and all those things. What you will put in place to make sure that this cannot happen, that plain talk bad manners. People must suffer the consequences of their actions. They must feel it in the pocket.
I understand you very, very well. Let me just say that my focus is, and the remit that the Prime Minister has placed in the hands of this cluster, is to take the economy forward. Those who have to deal with issues of penalizing those for whatever actions taken or not taken, that lies in the hands of the Attorney General and others who are much brighter than I am to deal with that. But I think it's important for people to understand that that in the finance sphere, we are very, very focused on changing people's lives positively and creating opportunity for the future. If we spend our time dealing with things, and you know, Les Brown, and I will end with this. Les Brown, one of my motivational speakers that I listened to when I was growing up, he used to say, life is like driving a car. You have a big windscreen and a small rearview mirror because you're supposed to spend less time looking back and more time looking forward. I would let those who have the tools to look back and deal with them. Our focus is looking forward and building a better Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah. Well, I hope that is your closing remarks, because I'm asking you now to give us that. What you would say to Trinidad and Tobago, having regard to all of the issues, particularly in the area of unemployment, and of course the situation with those persons who would have been recently displaced, vis-a-vis your PCPEP, and those other programs.
While what we inherited was a difficult situation, Kamla Persad-Bissessar as Prime Minister is focused on creating a new economic engagement that will allow the government to reset, not focused only on what government can do, but focused on how government can facilitate, coordinate, legislate, and of course create policies that will bring about a different engagement for both the private sector and international investors. While things are going to be difficult as we navigate all the things that we have been confronted with, I am really, really very optimistic and hopeful that under this Prime Minister and this Minister of Finance, that a new Trinidad and Tobago economic revitalization would be forthcoming, and it will benefit us as a country and as a people for the years to come.
Nice.
So I am extremely excited to be part of this new frontier.
Well, I know you said let the brighter people deal with it than you, Honorable Minister, and I agree, let the brighter people, but would you be able to wear a private hat? Because I know that you are also a Christian, a pastor, all those various things, and just on the grounds of, do you agree with the pitbull that people in high places that are spending our money, if they if they spend it bad or they get themselves involved in corruption or all those things, that they should be meaning they make decisions that any bright person that go to school or anybody with natural common sense would not make certain decisions to throw away $100 million or $500 million or $1 billion. And you're seeing these people making these decisions, and you're seeing it going in a direction of, it's not a matter they don't have common sense, but if they're doing it within their own business, they wouldn't make those type of decisions. Won't you not agree that a CEO, a chairman, that they should be whole responsible, accountable for their actions, whether it be charged, whether it be jail, something in order for we not to go through this again in Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, let me just say, when you started your program, I think some of the words that, and not verbatim, but some of the words you started this program with when I came in was that government is here to serve and not to be served. I think those who come into the public purse, myself included, all of us ought to be held to a higher standard, and all of us have to recognize that we have a sacred responsibility to do good to all manner of people and all peoples everywhere, and that responsibility comes with consequences. Whatever those consequences are, we all have to bear them. But when it comes to personal choice or choice in the choices we make as officers of the state, who are placed with this tremendous opportunity that the Prime Minister and the country has vested in us, the obligation to us, or the obligation that is placed on us to be better people is significant, and all of us need to live up to that obligation.
Yes, indeed. Of course, to whom much is given, much is expected. Yes, indeed. And of course, thank you, Minister.
Always a pleasure.
It's a pleasure. Yeah, to have you here. Of course, that was, of course, Senator Kennedy Swatsing, of course, Minister of Planning, Economic Affairs and Development, as well as, of course, a minister in the Ministry of Finance. So thank you very much for gracing us with your presence here at Talk City, 91.1. And we look forward to other engagement.
I enjoy the engagement of the honorable minister. He was, I believe, Trinidad and Tobago, he was very honest in everything he spoke today.
Definitely, Andy. We'll do an evaluation post he's leaving the.
Let me hear the evaluation.
I just want to wish everyone a wonderful carnival. Be safe and enjoy it, and just a special thank you to all those who keep our culture alive.
Beautiful. All right. So, post, of course, his exit, we will, of course, do our own evaluation. But we have to go for a break. Yes. When we come back more.
Wake up to the issues that matter most on the Ground Report. Join Andy Williams and Lennox Smith every morning from 6 to 9 a.m. for real talk, real analysis, and real perspectives on the stories shaping our nation. News, current affairs, and voices from the ground, unfiltered and unapologetic. That's the Ground Report. Weekday mornings on Talk City 91.1, where the conversation begins.
Every morning begins with a story, the headlines you need, the voices you trust, the conversations shaping our nation. Welcome to Trinidad and Tobago Today, where your day starts informed and inspired. News that matters to you, conversations that spark new ideas, stories that move Trinidad and Tobago forward. Tune in weekdays, Monday to Friday at 6 a.m. or join the conversation on any smart device at TNT Today Show. Trinidad and Tobago Today. Start here, exclusively on TTT.
Carnival Sunday night. This is us. One rhythm. Ignites the Savannah stage. This is we. One rhythm. Carnival Sunday night.
This Valentine's season, Talk City 91.1 FM celebrates second chances at love. Were you divorced, heartbroken, widowed, and thought love was over until it found you again? Share your story on air in just 1 or 2 minutes. Tell us how you healed, how long it took, and how love returned. Respectfully, honestly, and from the heart. Daily winners will be selected with a grand prize winner announced on Friday, February 13th. Second chances, love after heartbreak. Only on Talk City 91.1.
Powered by the House of Angostura, Whittier, celebrating 65 years of connecting the Caribbean. Flowers 137, Cinema 1, Gemstone.
Calling all mass lovers, the ultimate carnival experience is here. The world-renowned Senior Parade of Bands. On Carnival Monday from 11 a.m. and Carnival Tuesday from 8 a.m. Watch thousands of masqueraders revel in color, energy, and glory across the big stage. The Queen's Park Savannah will come alive with the passion of our people and the rhythm of our culture. Grandstand general seating, $150 for access on both days. North Stand free on Monday and just $50 on Tuesday. Available at the Grandstand ticket booth, online at islandetickets.com and the NCC office, Victoria Square, Port of Spain. For more info, find us on Instagram at ttcarnival365.com or call 622-1670. Senior Parade of Bands 2026. Presented by the NCC. Supported by Mackeson, Dasani, Forest Park, Coca-Cola, Kaleidoscope, and Caribbean Airlines.
This week only, tune in to TTT News at 6 p.m. Then stay tuned for your favorite carnival competitions immediately following, only on TTT.
Question for you, I have a question for you.
Are you suffering from a lack of pavement lime vibes? Experiencing sudden soca withdrawal? Do you need some flavor in your life?
Yes, rest your carnival hearts, because we are taking the pavement lime straight to Flavor Village.
Still 100% soca.
Still 100% pavement vibe. And the best part, it's still free.
Plus, look out for the Forest Park Punching specials all night long.
It's Next 99.1, Digicel, and Forest Park Punching Next Level of Flavor. Thursday, 12th February. From 5 p.m., we are the Flavor Village. Get your team, get your flag, and come take one last pump with the Next 99.1 family. The Next Level of Flavor is powered by Digicel, Forest Park Punching, Blue Waters, Stamina Energy, Yellowtail Wines, Absolute, Jameson Irish Whiskey, Sunshine Snacks, Sun Mix, Nut Bar, Creamery Novelties, and the Ministry of Culture and Community Development. Next 99.1 FM, the pavement lime lives on.
If you are a migrant currently living in Trinidad and Tobago without legal immigration status, this message is for you. The government of Trinidad and Tobago has introduced a special registration process for migrants who have overstayed or entered the country illegally. The online registration process will begin from Monday 26th of January and end on Wednesday 25th of February 2026. All applicants are first required to register through the official portal at migrantregistration.gov.tt. That's migrantregistration.gov.tt. After completing the online registration, there will be a mandatory in-person processing and verification which begins at the end of February 2026. The start date for that phase will be announced through official government channels. The in-person registration will take place at the Hazley Crawford Stadium, Port of Spain, the Atto Bolden Stadium in Balmain, Couva, and the Larry Gomes Stadium in Malabar, Arima, as well as the Dwight York Stadium, Bacalet, Scarborough, Tobago. Applicants will undergo a comprehensive verification process, which will include vetting by the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service involving fingerprinting and background checks. You will also be required to undergo basic medical screening. Upon completion of the registration process, successful applicants will be required to pay $700 for the migrant registration card. The ministry reminds undocumented migrants your participation in this exercise is essential, as failure to register during this window will result in deportation. This special registration process for migrants is your opportunity to be documented, protected, and allowed to work legally in Trinidad and Tobago for a defined period. For additional instructions, along with online application and required forms, visit the official portal at migrantregistration.gov.tt. That's migrantregistration.gov.tt. This message brought to you by the Ministry of Homeland Security and the Information Division, Office of the Prime Minister.
Every morning begins with a story. The headlines you need. The voices you trust. The conversations shaping our nation. Welcome to Trinidad and Tobago Today, where your day starts informed and inspired. News that matters to you. Conversations that spark new ideas. Stories that move Trinidad and Tobago forward. Tune in weekdays, Monday to Friday at 6 a.m. or join the conversation on any smart device at TNT Today Show. Trinidad and Tobago Today. Start here, exclusively on TTT.
Carnival Sunday night. This is us. One rhythm. Ignites the Savannah stage. This is we. One rhythm. Carnival Sunday night.
This is Destra. Right now you're listening to Talk City 91.1. Keep it locked.
The Ground Report with Andy Williams and Lennox Smith.
We are back. Time check. It's a 6 minutes to the hour. I had to learn to coin this last. That last question was very important, but he really stated the right direction, which is that is in the hands of the Attorney General. Because Trinidad and Tobago, why I ask that is because that's the big question it have out there. I don't know if maybe how I asking it or what, but I will find a way. I'm going to find a way, which is people will keep asking how it is. If it's us, we the people, we do something wrong. It's so easy for we to be charged, get jail, to be held accountable. But when it come in to permanent sex or a CEO or a chairman, and them who have that power to spend our money, and then we go here because look, we hear from them. Look, we heard from the godly minister how all what the media country and the state the media country in, and how our money was just thrown away, misappropriated, and look, I find a way now to coin it. The same way I agree with the fees for delivery cars and drivers that want to have a break in the windscreen and drive, smooth tires and drive, and we find a way to deter them by high fines, so they will think twice today when you're on the road. You see the difference in the driving. You're seeing cars more roady out there. Or if you see the officers and them they're pulling up and thing, and I hope Lennox, please bring it across to me in a way where all with all the high IQ could understand. Why it is they don't bring legislations in place to deter permanent sex and deputy permanent sex and CEOs and acting CEOs and chairmen that have that power to spend millions of dollars in our money unaccounted. When we watch, they do stupidness with the money. That if they're running their own business, they will never throw with their own money so. But when it comes to public money, it's just a throw away and them just walk free. A slap on the wrist. When we have to make jail, we have to full brunt of the law. But them is a slap on the wrist. So that is the angle I was going at, and the angle I would like to know, because the next government coming may complain about the same thing. I might be lying. They may say the UNC, the meet this, the meet it broken, the meet that and all them things. When would things, stiff measures be put in place for those responsible for our funding, that we could repossess their house, their land, their car? They make a mistake, we pay them well, you know. We pay them very good. But if they make any stupid mistake, that they must suffer the consequences or don't take the work. Lennox, I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to bring across, boy.
I understand, absolutely what you are getting at, what you are focusing upon, what your references are. But the argument will be that there are legislations in place, the Integrity in Public Life Act, follow the money in terms of investigations. Of course, you have a central authority now in the office of the Attorney General to look at corruption and other matters of that nature, which of course engendered your concern. The thing about it is the people in the system clearly that are not doing their work. The minister alluded to that when he talked about, remember we made mention about a banking ombudsman. We talked about those persons who are responsible for regulating and making sure that the system works. But unfortunately, that is not so. We have a caller? We have one minute. He was indicating.
Oh, we have to go to the news, but it's a very good conversation to come back on, Lennox.
Yeah,
because
of course,
that question is not.
We will elaborate after, because I mean it is something that we have to look at, and how those persons responsible for the regulation, for the enforcement, are not doing their job. Because they have politicians who manipulate. We saw it, of course, very poignantly in the last administration. We saw, of course, the Prime Minister inserting himself in the Police Service Commission debacle. We saw him, of course, with respect to the Petrotrin matter, and, of course, causing Trinidad and Tobago a fortune, and we can go on and on. So we need to be able to put that on the front burner and discuss that frankly, as we have done other issues of a similar nature.
Now we go for the news and
we
come
go for
back.
the break.
We
go for the news, and when we come back, more.
Good morning. This is your TTT News Update. I'm Carrie Roberts. Making the news at this time. Minister of Transport and Civil Aviation, Eli Zakur, says several international airlines have expressed interest in launching services to Trinidad, noting that another carrier is expected to begin operating a Barbados to Trinidad route in March. Speaking on Trinidad and Tobago today, the minister explained that previously, a number of airlines had been reluctant to enter the TNT market due to various challenges. However, he said the situation has changed significantly. Just last week, Winair operated its inaugural flight, marking the start of enhanced connectivity between St. Martin and Trinidad and Tobago. And Minister Zakur added that even more developments in regional and international airlift are on the way.
Many airlines that are very interested in coming to Trinidad. I wouldn't give the names currently, but there are many airlines interested in coming to Trinidad and Tobago. And very soon, on the 9th of March, Inter-Caribbean will be starting flights from Barbados 4 times a week to Port of Spain.
The minister emphasized that the growing airline interest will open up Trinidad and Tobago not only to increase tourism, but also to expand commercial opportunities.
Persons now could visit many more destinations and also for trade. I was in St. Martin last week. I went to St. Martin to join the inaugural flight to Trinidad. And there are many Trinidadians doing business in St. Martin as well. So this will open up so much markets for Trinidad and Tobago, tourism and trade.
Minister in the Ministry of Finance, Dr. Kennedy Swaratsing, has argued that government's decision to pay outstanding back pay acts as a targeted injection into the economy. The minister said that commitment would have a major impact, especially in sectors where working-class households spend most of their income.
Economic standpoint, back pay represents a targeted injection into aggregated demand to stimulate economic activity. It will impact the possible macroeconomic impacts along the following themes: labor force participation rate, multiplier effect, savings and investments, influence on crime, and improvement in living standards.
In other news, Kimani Hector Kalu has been named the primary school's Junior Soca Monarch for 2026, while Marcus McDonald is the Junior Soca Monarch in the secondary schools category. Minister of Education, Dr. Michael Dowlath, who witnessed the entirety of the competition on Tuesday, applauded all the finalists.
This is a real experience, as we would have labeled it. I want to say that our primary and secondary participants, from the preliminaries right up to the finals, they were outstanding. On the stage on SAPA, they were exceptional. I want to congratulate the principals and the teachers, but the parents who came out and supported. I think we have an abundance of talent, and I want to say I'm looking forward to next year.
In some sport now, Presentation College San Fernando extended their dominance in the secondary schools Cricket League Premiership 1 Division on Tuesday, cruising to a commanding 229-run victory over Queens Royal College. After winning the toss and electing to bat, Brendan Boodoo continues his exceptional form, top scoring with a brilliant 106. He was well supported by Ethan Ramcharan, whose classy knock of 85 powered Presentation to an imposing total of 310 for 8. Defending the target, Presentation made quick work of the QRC lineup. Levi Ghani led the attack with 3 wickets, while Aidan Owen and Raid Prasad chipped in with 2 apiece as QRC were bundled out for 81 in 30 overs. And that was your TTT News Update. I'm Carrie Roberts. Have a great day.
That was TTT News on Talk City 91.1 FM.
Talk City 91.1 FM. Talk.
This is about creating opportunity through responsible management and citizen participation in national wealth. We are targeting US $3 billion in new investment within the next few years in energy, in construction, in tourism, and the digital economy.
Music.
It's reconstruction time in Trinidad, so put your shoulder to the wheel, man, lad, move on, don't stop till you reach the top. You put a hand and I put a hand and we will sing. For big and for small in no time at all, prosperity. There's no other way to do it. Show your your patriotic spirit. Unity, somehow, if Trinidad ever needed you, is now.
Culture.
The budget has goodies and some not so goodies, but that is because fairness requires that everyone plays their part.
Engaging conversations, latest news, our music. This is Talk City 91.1
These
FM.
are not just stories, they are the echoes of who we are, passed down in voices, in silence, and in memory. From the heart of the Caribbean, where history, mystery, and magic meet, this is Echoes of Our Folklore. Echoes of Our Folklore. Your weekly journey into the legends, stories, and whispers of our islands. Echoes of Our Folklore. Brought to you with the compliments of Creamery for all life's moments. In the deep shadowed forests, there is a presence that has walked these lands long before roads, before cities, before man believed the wilderness belonged to him. His name is Papa Bois. They say Papa Bois is short and stocky, with two horns crowning his head and the legs of a deer. He moves silently through the trees, carrying a horn of his own, one that he uses not to threaten, but to test. For when wicked hunters enter the forest with greed in their hearts, Papa Bois sounds his call, luring them deeper into the bush until the familiar path disappears and they are left lost among the trees. But make no mistake, Papa Bois is not a creature of evil. He is spoken of as a kind and ancient spirit, a guardian of the forest, a protector of animals, and a keeper of balance between humanity and nature. To those who respect the land, he is unseen. To those who seek only to exploit it, he becomes a warning. Papa Bois reminds us that the forest is not ours to conquer, but a living world to protect. Another tale from our islands, reminding us that the past, the spirits, and the stories of our ancestors are never far away. You've been listening to Echoes of Our Folklore. Echoes of Our Folklore. Only on Talk City 91.1 FM. You've been listening to Echoes of Our Folklore, brought to you with the compliments of Creamery for all life's moments.
Breaking news from Creamery Ice Cream. Our 1 gallon family has grown. Dive into the bold flavors of our Creamery Ice Cream's new zesty orange pine, rich strawberry cheesecake, and this just in, Creamery Ice Cream now has cherry vanilla and cherry coconut flavors too. Plus, your favorites, rum and raisin, chocolate ripple, and strawberry ripple have joined our 1 gallon family. A representative from Creamery Ice Cream has confirmed these flavors are available nationwide. That's the latest scoop from Creamery Ice Cream. Creamery Ice Cream for all life's moments.
The tradition, the detail, the dedication. This carnival, the Masters of Mass take center stage at the Senior Conventional Individuals Competition, where artistry meets imagination and every costume is handcrafted to perfection, telling powerful stories through color, texture, and movement. Join us at Victoria Square, Port of Spain on Thursday, 12 February from 7 p.m. Experience the magic of conventional mass. Bring the family and witness the spectacle. It's free to all. For more information, follow ttcarnival365.com on Instagram or call 622-1670. The Senior Conventional Individuals Competition, presented by the NCC, supported by Mackeson, Dasani, Forest Park, Coca-Cola, Kaleidoscope, and Caribbean Airlines.
If you are a migrant currently living in Trinidad and Tobago without legal immigration status, this message is for you. The government of Trinidad and Tobago has introduced a special registration process for migrants who have overstayed or entered the country illegally. The online registration process will begin from Monday 26th of January and end on Wednesday 25th of February 2026. All applicants are first required to register through the official portal at migrantregistration.gov.tt. That's migrantregistration.gov.tt. After completing the online registration, there will be a mandatory in-person processing and verification, which begins at the end of February 2026. The start date for that phase will be announced through official government channels. The in-person registration will take place at the Hazley Crawford Stadium, Port of Spain, the Atto Bolden Stadium in Balmain, Couva, and the Larry Gomes Stadium in Malabar, Arima, as well as the Dwight York Stadium, Bacalet, Scarborough, Tobago. Applicants will undergo a comprehensive verification process, which will include vetting by the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service involving fingerprinting and background checks. You will also be required to undergo basic medical screening. Upon completion of the registration process, successful applicants will be required to pay $700 for the migrant registration card. The ministry reminds undocumented migrants your participation in this exercise is essential, as failure to register during this window will result in deportation. This special registration process for migrants is your opportunity to be documented, protected, and allowed to work legally in Trinidad and Tobago for a defined period. For additional instructions, along with online application and required forms, visit the official portal at migrantregistration.gov.tt. That's migrantregistration.gov.tt. This message brought to you by the Ministry of Homeland Security and the Information Division, Office of the Prime Minister.
This Wednesday morning on The Ground Report,
where Carnival meets conversation. Talk City 91.1.
This is Destra. And right now you're listening to Talk City 91.1. Keep it locked. Bang, bang, bang. Bang, 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 bang.
The Ground Report with Andy Williams and Lennox Smith.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We are back. Time check. It's at 12 minutes past the hour of 8 o'clock. Yes, 12 past. And you're listening and viewing the Ground Report on Talk City 91.1 FM. I wouldn't want to go into that last question too much because I will want to continue focusing on the Honorable Minister Kenneth V. Sawat Singh, which is the Minister of Planning and Economic Development and Minister in the Ministry of Finance. And on some of the things he said, or some of the questions that we could have asked, obviously I will hold that last question, or that part what really and truly irritates me and irritates a lot of people. And people will be talking like that in the future. They'll be saying, well, but nobody can get locked up. But how come this person was allowed to throw away this money so, or misappropriate that so, or wasn't get the hell accountable so? And then they would say it's only talk and no action. But we will get that very important interview. I'm going to put it in place with the Honorable Attorney General that will be able to ask and answer that question. Because it's about time that politicians, CEOs, chairmen, and all those people that have the power to spend our money, if they misappropriate it in any way that makes no sense, that they must be held accountable criminally. Most politicians just get off with a slap on the wrist. And hence the reason many people only want to go in politics, not on the basis of really serving the people, you know. It's on the basis of getting rich. They say after selling drugs, politics is the fastest, legalist way of making money. You want to make millions and millions of legal money? The talk in the streets is get in politics. And we have to put legislation in place to deter that out of people's mind, that when you come to serve, you come to serve. We have a very good government right now with a lot of honorable people, including the Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, the Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisesa. But again, these honorable people may not be around for long. God forbid, some of them had to close their eyes. New leaders, new ministers, new MPs will emerge, new CEOs, new chairmen. There will be new permanent secretaries. They will emerge. And what is in place to make sure that they are deterred from even watching the public money anyhow or spending it stupid. Because they must be held accountable. And we will ask the Minister the Attorney General. We will ask the Attorney General. We ought to get that, because that hard questions with the Pitbull and Lennox Smith and Snipes on the ground report with him, man, are promoting that in advance. Because everybody will want to lock on to know what are we putting in place to make sure these other people are held accountable for their actions too. Criminally. Yeah, look at that.
Let's head to the phone lines. We have a lot of people waiting. We don't have much time. We also have to take care of our Valentine's Day promotion. I hope we can do that before the end of this hour.
Wow. Go ahead. Take that call there.
Good morning. Welcome.
Listen, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, Andy. Morning, Lennox, and my team, Mr. Oh God, the name, I ain't accustomed to the name.
Snipes.
And let me see it.
Just remember Leslie Snipes.
Leslie, oh God, well, I might remember Leslie Strong then.
Good, all that.
Director, let me see Lennox there. Go ahead, my brother, Mr. X.
Right. This is Malcolm X here. Andy, I want you, Lennox, and all you keep the ground report with the dignity and the interest of this country, because what you are saying there is with plenty people can't wait to see accountability and answering for mismanagement. I know we in Carnival, but Carnival is just for a time. But remember, after Carnival is 5 years. 10 years done going down the drain with real wickedness, evil, greed, and anything you could think about which was not the interest. Here I want to say, you see Shell and all these people that come into Trinidad now, America all about, they're running these people from Africa. France, all of them, getting run from Africa, so they're looking now at the Caribbean. Just as we Trump do with the job thing and the thing, and we ain't hearing nothing more that again, all these big business was here already. Shell was here, BP was here, Esso was here, and who was benefiting? Not the citizens of the country was benefiting, was them get themselves more rich. And it's them now, we're getting run in Africa and other places, we come in here for their survival. All you have a good day and keep all your integrity and seek the interest. Andy, you especially seek the interest with Lennox. Well, I know it becomes a mighty K because he gone up, but all you keep the interest are the best interest of the poor and the oppressed in Trinidad. We don't know what's going on. Have a blessed day.
Thank you very much, caller. If you have a next one on your side, go ahead. And earlier, we want to focus on the Honorable Kennedy Sawat-Singh, the minister, and some of the things that he revealed, which, because as Lennox said, we want to take a X-ray of the whole conversation. Go ahead, caller.
Andy, good morning. Only listeners, Dr. Lennox. Andy, when you meet with the Attorney General interview, I would like you to ask him in NGC, right? How Colonel Edel and them, without parliamentary, without cabinet approval, to spend $245 million with state funded and a company funded without proper approval. I want to know what charges or how redress could be there. I know.
Nice. And we will do that. We will do that. But Mr. Faizabad, on the issue now, on all what we have discussed with the Honorable Kennedy Sawat-Singh, what are you comfortable with? What are you not comfortable with based on our interview this morning with the Honorable Minister of in the Ministry of Finance and Planning and Economic Development? Because I want to keep the focus there because it's he we just interviewed. We will deal with that aspect with the Attorney General that time, Rich. You can have next caller, morning caller.
Andy, pleasant good morning to you, my brother.
Good morning to you, Mr. Carnage, and I'm sure you listened to the interview with the Honorable planning
Yes,
minister.
you know,
Right.
anything where my government is involved in, I appreciate and I support. But I can't have a issue this morning. Lennox, pleasant good morning to you, my brother.
Same to you.
Right, Andy Williams, I sent some pictures here, and I want to explain Trinidad and Tobago the situation that I am in at present, where an entity of the government is right now. Now, on the Monday morning, God still I've gone here, which was the 9th of February, I was going to work in Shagamas on my boat. And a tractor, I sent a picture for you, the CDA tractor was cutting the side of the road, opposite Ascot. I was going down on the western main road, and the CDA tractor was in the bush on the right-hand side facing east, on the eastbound lane. And it appears like a big stone stick under the tractor, I don't know what, but I was driving, and this is what the driver said. He threw in a reverse. And Andy, a big stone come out from under that blade of that tractor and hit my car glass, my windscreen, right? That happened Monday.
Yeah,
I went to the police station. I went all about, and I don't want, right now it's Carnival. Lennox, you saw my car, right?
Yes.
Right? And my car is in pristine condition. I now finish when I set some money and see about my car, Andy. And I would like CDA, please, because they like to play people, I would like them to see about my car. Please. You understand? Because most of the time, them tractor and them does not know insurance and all kind of thing, Andy. I call in on the ground report. I need my glass to go back on. They have a new law now, 3 days and 7 days to fix back a thing. Yes, it's an accident, but somebody's supposed to call me already and let me go and see about my thing, because I don't have no money right now to go and buy no glass. I will have to be driving around just so the police give me a receipt. I went down in CDA head office, and up to now, nobody has called me to see about my glass, Andy. That is my problem this morning, brother.
Wow. But boy, I going to tell you from now, I believe you in real trouble.
Andy, it's no trouble with me. If I'm in real trouble, but I just get in one trouble and done then.
Well, I hope they call you. I hope. All I get.
I'm in real trouble because what's my car? What's my sticker on my car?
Look, I'm trying to. I'll pay it up for the people to see. I'll pay it up with the tractor.
What's the sticker on my car? Everything I just don't inspect my car. I don't do everything.
Right, but the tractor man went to the
he acknowledged you wrong. He acknowledged.
But did he go to the station and give the report and show his insurance and all them things?
Yes, he do all them things.
Well, why will the tractor insurance had a fix here?
No, well, I went to, they tell me to go to my insurance. How could I go to my insurance when I do know, it's not I want do the wrong. And up to now, I can't get nothing to say, well, what to do. You know what? And I know, well, the CDA are entity of the state. Them are the whole Shagamas down there. Our glass is just to fix back labor and put back our glass, and that bothering me. Because right now, my car, watch how my car looking right now.
All right. Well, we hope you get you, boy. I'll put it up in a little bit so people are going to see. Okay? You all make it short and sweet. Next caller, morning caller, where you calling from?
Hello,
what's your contribution? Again, I want to stick with the interview on some of the questions that was asked, some of the things that was bothering you all. Did you all get the answers to it? Or what other question that you all would have asked the godly Minister Kennedy Suraj Singh when it comes to planning and development, planning and economic development, and minister in finance, minister in the Ministry of Finance? Go ahead, caller.
Morning is California.
Go ahead, we are listening.
California here.
Go ahead, California.
I have no answers on the minister right now, but what I want to say, this fire and thing where they burning here, why Kamala bring out a fine for that? People house and thing could burn down like this, and the boy, this is real terrible, boy. Real terrible what they're doing.
What you talking about now?
She been fined for everything. Fire with burning, boy. They're setting fire every day, boy. Real mess, and real, people house and think this kind of.
All right, and who saw the?
It's not easy, Andy, boy.
And who set the fire?
This is what, and he's all over there doing it, boy, all over there doing it.
Right, but then how would the Prime Minister, because you just said Kamala Prasad, her government is bringing fines for everything, and they should have fines for people burning fires, which it have fines, so you can't burn fire in an open place and thing. It have legislation for that already. that's against the law. So what do you want more from them based on it? Already have legislation for that, but somebody had to see the person and at least take a picture and say, hey, picture taken. Let this person set up and go and make a report at the police station.
Oh, they have placement for this already then.
Yeah, it have things in place for that. Yeah, it have things in place for that.
All them boys and them linemen and they
but don't you know you can't just but don't you know you just can't, based on the season, you just can't burn a fire in your own yard that is private.
Exactly.
You can't.
Exactly.
It allows
exactly, Andy.
Well, right. So
yes, they will come and hold you. They will come and hold you lucky for that.
Well, right. So it have laws for the other people who are catching fires indiscriminately, right? It's just for somebody to see them and make a report. All right, next caller. Morning caller, where you calling from? What's your contribution on the ground report? And please, the Honorable Minister was interviewed here by the ground report, Lennox and I. Some important questions was asked. Some of the questions that we asked him was troubling to many of you, the people out there. So please, let's stick to that. Go ahead, caller. Pleasant good morning to you.
Good morning to the ground report. Good morning to the Pitbull and Williams, Lennox Smith and Snipes. Tabakit here.
Yes.
Pitbull, you there with me?
Obviously, you is the king of the airwaves, you know, Tabakit, man. Go ahead, my brother.
Yeah, hearing you loud and clear. Go ahead, Tabakit.
Don't put me in that bacchanal this morning.
What bacchanal pay you?
We have limited time.
Don't give me no title. Let me go with Lennox. Right.
Yeah. Don't give me no title. You feel you get in trouble if you get a title.
Brother, not dinner. Me, I want that title. You keep that. Hey, Andy, what you doing? Me, let me make my contribution. Right. So, where the minister would have gone, I heard him. But hear what I want to advise this morning. After hearing the minister, the government will have to administrate the bitter pill to citizens now. Andy, let me repeat this, you know. The government have no other choice but to administrate the bitter pill to citizens, and they will have to take it. It comes as you have a bad cold and you try everything else, and you have to go back to Zebapik. And I'll tell you why. As a matter of fact, on the backdrop of listening to Professor Roger Hussein on CNC 3 days now while he was interviewing the minister, and it's nearly the same thing he was saying. So let me say this. I am predicted come April go down, citizens will have to accept that bitter pill if they didn't accept that medicine, because you heard the minister said there is piling amount of debts on debts, and there is nothing that this administration can do. The Rowley administration and the Stuart Young administration, they would have, I don't know if they knew they was going to lose the election, and is debts upon debts. So as I take my leave and land the plane, the only advice I have for the government, it is time to administrate the bitter pill, and citizens will have to take it. If they don't take that bitter pill, I say open sepulchre and all gone. Andy,
nice,
you
but before I go quick, you say administrator the bitter pill is administrating the bitter pill is having a press conference, coming out and letting the citizens know exactly what time it is, plain talk, bad manners. So in that way, they'll be able to brace itself, meaning talk to them, because we also heard the minister say that he's seeing like tougher times from now till the rest of the year, and then within a few months after, he will be seeing things will change around.
Well, Mr. Pitbull, Andy Williams, you couldn't be more correct. And you are correct. We're not bad talking. We've been critical. We're doing the post-mortem because you said after you leave, you will do the post-mortem. This is it. You are correct. I think the Prime Minister and the Finance Minister, they should come out. You are right. And tell the citizen, this is where we stand. We do not have, we mean well. We want to help you all. But you all must accept this bitter pill. And in going forward, we know come 2027, 28 going down, we would see some resemblance. Because you remember, Trinidad rely heavily on the energy sector. And if the gas is at an all-time low, and Petrotrin is closed, and we cannot get U.S. dollars currency, people, let's face it, let us not play game. This is not Kamala, the administration fault. This is where they met and they have no other choice. I agree with you, Andy.
Nice. But the minister,
carnival,
but the minister did say that the energy sector looking good. It's just that it will kick
Well-
off within the next, I think he said within the next year and a half, 2 years. Is when
well, is
the
it
energy
and
sector.
this is what the point you're making. Yes, it's looking good. It will be kick off. But what we're saying for now, you talking from now till 2027, that's a whole year.
Yeah,
and you know this country, the people very restless.
Yeah,
so you made a good point there. Let the government come out, hold a press conference, show the people the chart. Don't hide it, you're right. Tell them this is where we stand. You all have to accept this bitter pill. And if you do not, well, open sepulchre. And the good point, I think you should bring it on more after the carnival to encourage our government, hold that press conference. Tell the people this is where the economy is. Good.
Thank you very much. Next caller, quick. Go ahead, because we have to go into our Valentine's segment. Don't forget Trinidad and Tobago. We have a lot of goodies given away for the Valentine's segment. One of you on the ground report, win a trip. Go ahead, caller, morning. On the issue of the interview, that's what we want to talk about. The pros, the cons, and what's your thoughts? Go ahead, caller.
Okay, good morning to the tree. Andy, I'm making a clarion call to Mr. Karinaj to go to his insurance. And when he go to his insurance, they will go and get a police report. And then they will pay him for his windshield. If you don't do that, he wouldn't get you. Okay, let me go and tell you about what all asked the minister about this traffic jam. For me, this is just an election ploy. Because you remember when it had the Red Bull, Mr. Andy?
Yes.
And it had this traffic jam? It didn't have no business closing down. Do you remember when he had the day policing Mr. Andy? Yes. You can remember that? Up to now, they know who caused that to happen. Ask Mr. Smith, he might know. Do you remember, Andy?
Yes.
How he didn't have no business closing down?
Okay, then. Thank you very much.
I'm just telling you. So that what happened there is as UNC here, that's why they're talking that. It don't have no business closing down. It's so they're attacking the UNC from all sides, no matter what they try to do. But I agree with what the minister talking this morning about the money.
Remember, caller, some of the concerns that many of you had out there, which Lennox Smith mentioned it too, which is some of you all getting pension late, some of you tax returns and all those things. And the minister cleared up on that and say that those things are back up for quite a while. He said that they did not know fields officers for certain things. It did not, and they're now filling the gap. So I want people to understand the interview, understand the conversation, based on what was your queries, and if you all understand now. All right.
Andy, let me tell you something. You hear me?
Yeah.
Andy, I'm a pensioner, right? And I doesn't get that problem at all.
Oh,
you hear me?
Oh, you don't get that problem at all. And you're a pensioner. Yes, Lennox Smith, I want to engage you because remember we had to take the break and then we had to try to do this thing. Right. Throughout some of the questions that was asked short to the minister that people had queries about.
I focus on the responses because I think he was frank. I think, and therefore built into it is the solutions. He did say that the bureaucracy and the red tape has been the bugbearer for pensioners not receiving on time or on a timely basis their pensions. He did in fact indicate that while of course crime is down and while there is a census being pursued by the government to identify several things, including, of course, the size of the population, but more importantly, those persons that are unemployed. And indeed, the objective of the revitalization plan is to craft some 78,000 jobs. He acknowledged the fact that your PCPEP and so on, and those persons who might have been displaced are at the lowest rung of the socio-economic ladder. And so there will be taken some time for, of course, the impact of expanding the economy, if I may interpret what he was saying, would of course reach all and sundry and achieve, of course, that point where there is no unemployment. 3% in any economy is considered to be no employment, if even though of course there is a percentage that will always be unemployed. So it is on that basis, the optimism in what he would have said should resonate with the population. Of course, he rubbished the idea that the last administration, now the opposition, asking the question where the money will come from. Well, he made it very clear where the money will come from, because they were saying that there's no way there is no elasticity, there is no flexibility for them to get any money to start those mega and not so mega and smaller projects. But he showed the creativity of the present government by talking about PPP, public sector, private partnership. He talked about bolt arrangements where private sector investment, and of course the manifestation of that, the proof of it was the fact that just under 1,000 interests in the various projects came to the government, came to the precincts of the government, and therefore the opportunity to quickly move into the expanding of the economy and getting everybody to work is real. And I think those are the areas that I would want to focus on.
And what timeline you suspect that with the conversation, Lennox Smith? Because remember, people listening, people want to know, because at the end of the day, people out of a job right now, right? People
roll out.
That will roll out,
I take from the minister who made the announcement. I'm talking about Minister Jolene John. He's talking about June. So while of course expression of interest would have been let's say garnered, the thing about it is that you have to send out packages and so on, and who invests in where before of course actual work on the ground takes place. So my understanding is that by June, about 4 more months from now, things should start rolling for CLOTs, for people in East Port of Spain, of course, and you also have San Fernando, because it's a broad-based thing. You have the energy corridor. You also have, of course, roads to be constructed, and the rolling out of what some say is a replacement for URP, that cleanup initiative that would be focused on, however, in terms of execution, the various regional corporations. So quite a lot of things are on the horizon. Whilst people may have immediate pain, because he did say that a little pain will be part and parcel of the whole process, but there is no gain, as anybody in the natural life will know. There's no gain without a little pain.
And the next big question, because we had to go for this break and then come back with our Valentine's special, because we want one of our ground reporters to win that trip. Lennox Smith, he mentioned about the dollar, about how much money on a dollar, to break it down for the people of Trinidad and Tobago to understand that they have. So, wait, Lennox. Lennox, wait. Let me ask it so people will understand first. Wait. Right. So out of the dollar, he mentioned that 96 cents out of a dollar goes back into paying public servants, paying for debts, paying loans, paying this, and all they have is 4 cents on every dollar remain that really cannot do anything. Because go ahead now, so the people will.
That is what was inherited. That is why it is a bit slow to pay out persons who are expecting, including, of course, those persons with VAT returns, those persons with pensions, etc. I think that would have accounted for that, apart from the bureaucracy. So he's saying that there is money in the system to treat with those matters, but the bureaucracy and the red tape has an important part to play in that tardiness. And then he talks about the ease of doing business. All of those things that they would have had to address, quite apart from the inherited debts and the national debt as well, apart from specific debts with respect to specific ministries
and the state enterprises. I think he was very comprehensive. He was very detailed. I think we had a lot of time with him in order to treat with that. And I think that is what we were talking about last week, where the government might have been short in terms of interacting with the population and letting them know what the situation is. And it is very commendable that these ministers at the highest level are prepared to come here, and we do our part in terms of disseminating information that only they alone could, of course, convincingly disseminate. Because we could talk, but we could talk vicariously, we could talk secondhand. But when you have it directly from a minister, I think it is much more viable, and people will accept the veracity of it as opposed to us who they may see as lackeys of the present administration.
Nice. So earlier, to make a long story short, what I gain overall to you all the grassroots, you all the people that are still waiting for various jobs, whether it be back pay, whether it be a pension, whether it be this, the government of Trinidad and Tobago, and they are now coming out and let you all know through programs like our own, they meet the country in a mess, broken. The PNM government squandered everything. Ministries was indebted. Everything was indebted. It had work. It have state enterprises that have no workers and just falling flat on its face. That's what it boiled down to. That's what they are saying. So we go for a break and come back. When we come back, more right here on the Ground Report. Let's get the love in the air. Were you ever hurt? I was. And then find love again. I did. I'm going to win a hamper from Angostura when I give my story.
You sound like KFC, boy.
Snipes.
But he have a tabanka for lack of
This
work.
Valentine's Day on Talk City 91.1, we're talking about real love.
Not the fairy tales, not the perfect endings, but the love that comes after heartbreak.
Join us for Second Chances, Love After Heartbreak.
If you've loved and lost,
If you've survived divorce
or a long relationship,
and somehow found love again, we want to hear your story, because love doesn't always start perfectly, but sometimes the second time means even more.
call in, share your journey, inspire someone who still believes. Second chances, love after heartbreak.
Only on Talk City 91.1 FM. Real conversations, real life, real love. On Monday 9th to Friday 13th February, join us for Second Chances, Love After Heartbreak. Powered by the House of Angostura, Whittier, celebrating 65 years of connecting the Caribbean. Flowers 137, Cinema 1, Gemstone.
Tune in to the Holy Trinity Cathedral program on Talk City 91.1 FM every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Mark your calendar. It's a great way to stay connected with the spiritual reflections, uplifting messages, and community updates right here with us on Talk City 91.1 FM. The Canbulay riots of 1881 changed the future of mass forever. Freed from the chains, our spirits soared high. Now experience the roots of our culture, where rhythm meets resistance, where drama meets history, where song tells the story of a people. Join us for the reenactment of the Canbulay riots. Friday, 13 December from 4 a.m. at Piccadilly Greens, Port of Spain. Canbulay, a powerful tribute to the heritage of Carnival. Free to all. For more information, find us on Instagram at ttcarnival365.com or call us at 622-1670. This event is proudly presented by the NCC, supported by Mackensen, Dasani, Forest Park, Coca-Cola, Kaleidoscope, and Caribbean Airlines.
It's the hottest show for Carnival. And if you missed it, this is another chance to celebrate the icons in Gone But Not Forgotten. I feel like hope. Friday 20th, the Friday after Carnival. We're back at Napa, including Funny, Swallow, Singing Francie, Shadow,
Arrow, Maestro, Rootsman, Lax, Sandoli, Rigo, Brass Shorty Eye, plus lots more. Their music still lives on in our hearts. An unforgettable night as we celebrate their legacy in Gone But Not Forgotten.
Backing band, the renowned Vince Rivers and the Soca Unit. Friday 20th, the Friday after Carnival. We're back at Napa. One show only.
Showtime 6:30 p.m. Your master of ceremonies, Sonny Bling.
Tickets $300 and $250. $50 off by Ash Wednesday if stocks last. An additional $10 off for online purchases. Available at Crosby's, Jumbo Foods Barataria, Mark's Liquor Palace, Diego Martin Main Road, All Kenny Sport, Western Union, Tunapuna, All Extra Foods, Athletes by the Park, Napa, Box Office. For more info, call 732-3402. Gone, but not forgotten.
The Lion Brand always had a plan, giving great taste all across the land. Pelori Friday, roti and doubles too, made with great taste just for me and you. All through the year and all season, the Lion Brand is the reason. When the Lion Brand in the kitchen, we know to mix and move, we're gonna mix and move.
This carnival season, mix and move with the Lion Brand of products, the power behind our great taste traditions.
With the Lion Brand.
Talk City 91.1. Thought-provoking conversations, bold perspectives, voices you trust. Listen on 91.1 FM and connect on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. New shows, new features, big giveaways. Talk City 91.1. Your city, your voice.
This Valentine's season, Talk City 91.1 FM celebrates second chances at love. Were you divorced, heartbroken, widowed, and thought love was over until it found you again? Share your story on air in just 1 or 2 minutes. Tell us how you healed, how long it took, and how love returned. Respectfully, honestly, and from the heart. Daily winners will be selected with a grand prize winner announced on Friday, February 13th. Second chances, love after heartbreak. Only on Talk City 91.1.
Powered by the House of Angostura, Whittier, celebrating 65 years of connecting the Caribbean. Flowers 137, Cinema 1, Gemstone.
The Grandstand North Stand Carnival Sunday Night Unforgettable Experience is back. This is us. This is we. One rhythm. Carnival Sunday Night.
Ever wondered what happens before the lights come on? Before the crowd pours in? Before the magic hits the stage? This is your all-access pass. Sneak Peek with Junior K takes you behind the scenes of the biggest cultural moments and the hottest events across TNT. From the sound checks to the stage setups, from final rehearsals to exclusive interviews. If it's about to be big, we're already there. Catch Sneak Peek airing daily on TTT and relive every moment on all our social media platforms. Sneak Peek with Junior K, where the story starts before the spotlight.
This week only, tune in to TTT News at 6 p.m. Then stay tuned for your favorite carnival competitions immediately following, only on TTT.
Pan on the road. Pan on the road. Voices on the air. Talk City 91.1.
This is Destra, and right now you're listening to Talk City 91.1. Keep it locked.
The Ground Report with Andy Williams and Lennox Smith.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We are back, we are back, we are back. Time check. Yes, it's 12 minutes to the hour to 9 o'clock. And you're listening to the Ground Report. Yours truly, the pitbull of radio, Lennox Smith. Hey, Director Snipes and all of you. Yes, my ground reporters. Have you ever been in love? Fall out of love, whether it be death, whether it be the person migrate, whether it be divorce. And did you find that love back again? Oh my gosh. Give us your story. Give us your life.
I give mine. I think you gave yours, Andy.
Yeah, it's coming, man.
Yeah, right. Okay, I give mine. But of course, we are not the ones focused upon because we cannot participate. So rest assured that any benefits or prizes or gifts will be, of course, directed to you. We are merely setting the pace, so to speak, and to give you a sense as to how you can make your presentation. Did we have any voicemails on that matter?
I'm going to check it out, man. I'm going to check it out. Yeah. So again, you can always send a voice. Go ahead.
Before we go forward, I want to mention yesterday's winner, who is Deborah Alexander. She won at 4:35 p.m. yesterday. Wow. So congratulations to you, Deborah. One of our daily winners.
Look at that now, boy. Somebody
will definitely have the opportunity to go for the grand prize.
Look at that. Somebody win in the 2:30 timing the day before, 2:30. Look, somebody come and win on heavy them program they now at 4:30. But one to them going reporters, boy. Them people and them like they never fall out of love and fall back like them sell at the bank, boy. Where they be?
I feel today we'll get it, you know. I feel today one of our persons will win.
You feel so? And what did Deborah win yesterday? Deborah win a hamper courtesy Angus too, right?
Courtesy Angus too.
Wow.
Boy.
And the final...
many, I'm sure, who fell in and fell out could do with that, I'm sure, for Carnival.
In our daily giveaways, you can also walk away with a pair of VIP tickets to Cinema One Gemstone.
Okay.
Wow. And the overall grand prize winner, what they're going to win, because I want to know again, so the ground reporters will understand what they're going to win. Just give me that story. Go ahead.
And how long it is for as well.
The overall grand prize winner will be drawn on Friday.
Let me hear. Put
thing
that's this Friday?
A pair of wrong trip airline tickets to St. Martin compliments winner.
This Friday, people. So you have tomorrow. You have tomorrow.
And that's inclusive of all taxes.
Today and tomorrow, in fact.
Paid.
Yes,
so all
so
taxes
you have today and tomorrow. So call in and get that.
We have a call.
Oh, we have a call.
Hi, welcome.
Hello.
Hi, hello, good day, and how are you? And welcome to the Ground Report. Have you ever been in love, fall out and fall back in?
Andy, you know I ain't been no in love. Anyway, I want to ask you something. Is tomorrow 91.1 pavement at Flavor?
Our sister station?
Sister station.
It's on Thursday. Yeah.
Okay, all right. All right, just wanted to know. I'll be there. I'll be there.
How the women and them on the ground report don't love the like them. They didn't want to love. Come, let me get next caller now, man. We want people who love. Oh gosh.
Right. What about the one you say in love with you, but you don't know if it's a man or a woman?
Patricia Reed.
He got the name off the top of his head.
So come on, man. Hey, look, somebody's calling, man. Somebody's calling. Let's hear.
All right,
good morning, caller.
All right, go ahead.
Yes, go ahead, caller. Have you ever been in love? Fall out of love and back in love again? Give us a part of that experience and that special moment. Where you're connecting, man. Oh, boy. Come on, caller. Come on, man. Let me give you all the numbers to call in, man. Be brave or send a voice note. 225-6644, 225-6644, or 239-5120, 239-5120. Or you can send us a WhatsApp call or send a voice note at 366-3053, 366-3053. Or you can call in Talk City Studios at 622-4911, 622-4911. So come on, caller. Morning to you. Welcome to the Valentine segment. Have you ever fall out of love and fall back in? Go ahead, caller. Boy, this person only calling and only connecting. Go closer to the neighbor. Go closer to the neighbor Wi-Fi. Go ahead, next caller. Morning.
Good morning, Andy and Uncle Lennox. Uncle Lennox and Andy,
Yeah.
I fall in love. And for the 5 years, it was so nice and beautiful. My heart was in the sky. And then after, a man come and destroy my marriage. And 10 years, he destroyed everything I had succeeded in getting and what my relation was providing. Then after 10 years, I come back and I fall in love. I get my beloved Prime Minister, the Honorable Ms. Kamala Prasad, says a true love for my world to be happy again. So that's my love story. So I am in love again with my country and everything. So my heart is no longer broken. It's indeed amended now. Have a nice day and Valentine greetings to each and every one.
Well, I don't think we have a category for fantasy. I don't think we have a category for fantasy. It has to be your personal experience. Not fantasy, not theorizing.
You know, even if
not hopefully.
Even if you were married already and your spouse has passed away, and you found your way back to find someone
that is one.
to not
what
fill
we
the
have,
space, but to fall in love.
So far, what we have had is persons falling in love and stayed in love. That's the experience I've gleaned so far with the callers that we have on the ground report. So it's
hold
very
1 minute,
stable
right?
relationship.
But hold one
Go
minute.
ahead.
Nobody's on the line. He always talk about proportional representation. He have at least 3 minutes to let us hear his story, man. Nobody. Let me hear your story, partner. When the tripping out for we know nobody. Let me hear your story, nobody. Wait, boy.
No. I'm sorry, I didn't realize that's the segment.
That is segment, so let me hear your story. You fall out of love and you fall. Yeah, give me a short and sweet version, man. We need somebody in the Gong Report to win.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Okay. So there's a true story.
Yes, let's hear.
About how I met my wife.
Mm-hmm.
You're a young person, you're 20s or whatever, and you're lineman.
But before you met her, you didn't but before you met her, you was in love with somebody, and you and them come and that wasn't the right person, and then you come and meet your beautiful wife. Or your first love was your wife.
So my partner, girlfriend, has some friends, and all of we meet up. And the fellas on them had a plan about, in them days they used to have setup. You set up your partner on a girl and this kind of thing. So they set me up on somebody, right? And all of we live in and went to a club and all of that. And my wife, we meet and we interact and we dance and whatnot and whatnot. And my wife is slim, right? She's tall and slim. So at the end of the line, she didn't seem interested. I asked her for a number. She didn't give me a number. And I left it at that. And then I work and I call my cousin. I say, hey, Skinny's here. I talk to she. Now, in my mind, I thinking it's the next girl who they set me up on. When in fact, is my wife, I didn't know, right? Because where we went to was a club, I couldn't really hear her voice properly. So in my mind, I think I speaking to the wrong person. I thought it was the next person I told him to. When the mark bus is my wife are talking to, I realized, hey, this is the next girl. And this happened like months after, So it's purely by accident. I could have ended up, let me put it this way, I could have ended up with the wrong one. But I ended up with the right one.
Wow.
I mean, yeah.
Wow, what a story, boy. Nobody is not only about proportional representation, boy. It's also you had the trick in getting a wife, man.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, nobody. Oh boy, I'll send you those names and them. Let's see if one of our ground reporters is gonna win. You all coming up next is Mr. X and Stephon Reese. Yes. With your big program off the record. Yeah,
Andy,
yeah.
we would need nobody's name and contact info.
Yes, we will. I will send you it. Nobody text me your name and your contact info, so I'll just forward it to Director Snipes. So Trinidad and Tobago, it's 1 minute to the hour to 9 o'clock. What an interesting day. So let's let that big interview with the Honorable Dr.
Yeah, very interesting. Very, very interesting indeed.
So
Of course,
wait. So let's let that day.
We can do it twice.
All right, let that day marinate with the Honorable Kennedy Sarrard Singh, Dr. Kennedy Sarrard Singh, Minister. Right? Don't forget tonight, yours truly, Lennox Smith with the corridor transformation. Yes. At 8 o'clock. Don't forget that at all. So until tomorrow morning, please God, same time, same place, on behalf of the Ground Report team, yours truly, the Pitbull of Radio, we are out of here.
Talk City 91.1 FM. Talk.
Cabinet has approved the establishment of the regulatory framework for the registration and management of classic, antique, and vintage vehicles in Trinidad and Tobago.
Music. Culture.
We are now in a state where I can now proudly announce that our gas production will increase by a significant amount given all the various projects that are now expected to come online.
Engaging conversations, latest news, our music. This is Talk City 91.1 FM.
These are not just stories, they are the echoes of who we are, passed down in voices, in silence, and in memory. From the heart of the Caribbean, where history, mystery, and magic meet, this is Echoes of Our Folklore. Your weekly journey into the legends, stories, and whispers of our islands. Brought to you by Talk City 91.1 FM. The Moko Jambi is one of the most iconic figures in Trinidad and Tobago's folklore, especially during Carnival. Standing tall on towering stilts, the Moko Jambi rises above the crowd, watching over the community as a symbol of protection and spiritual strength. Its roots reach back to African spiritual traditions, where the Moko Jambi was believed to be a guardian spirit, a warning presence against danger and misfortune. Today, that legacy lives on through Carnival, as Moko Jambis move gracefully through the streets in colorful, elaborate costumes, representing resilience, pride, and cultural heritage. More than spectacle, the Moko Jambi traditionally engages with the crowd, collecting coins and strengthening the bands of community that define the season. In folklore, the Moko Jambi also stands as defense against malevolent spirits. Jambis such as the Dwen, Lagahu, and Sukuya. Alongside this guardian figure, protective customs like placing salt, garlic, or rice at doorways, wearing silver jewelry, and displacing spiritual symbols have long been practiced. Together, these traditions remind us that Carnival is not just celebration, it is living history. Another tale from our islands, reminding us that the past, the spirits, and the stories of our ancestors are never far away. You've been listening to Echoes of Our Folklore. Echoes of Our Folklore. Only on Talk City 91.1 FM.
This Valentine's season, Talk City 91.1 FM celebrates second chances at love. Were you divorced, heartbroken, widowed, and thought love was over until it found you again? Share your story on air in just 1 or 2 minutes. Tell us how you healed, how long it took, and how love returned. Respectfully, honestly, and from the heart. Daily winners will be selected with a grand prize winner announced on Friday, February 13th. Second chances. Love after heartbreak. Only on Talk City 91.1.
Powered by the House of Angostura, Whittier, celebrating 65 years of connecting the Caribbean. Flowers 137, Cinema 1, Gemstone. This Wednesday morning on The Ground Report, we're bringing you a very special guest. Joining us live in studio is Senator the Honorable Dr. Kennedy Swaratsing, Minister of Planning, Economic Affairs and Development, and Minister in the Ministry of Finance. From 6 a.m., we'll be talking development, the economy, and the real issues affecting you. Straight, honest conversation.